Most online fitness coaches say that they want freedom, but here's the thing. Freedom isn't free. There's a cost associated with it. There's a reason that 99% of people work for somebody else and do not have their own business. You spend your entire day working 9 to 5 for somebody else and you want to build your online coaching business, but you say that you don't have the time. I'm gonna break down why 99% of coaches are broke and what you need to do to fix it and solve that problem. The reality of the situation is yes, I believe that online fitness coaching is the single most profitable venture that you can get into if you have a passion for fitness and you want to build a business that makes money, a business that gives you the ability to travel, a business that does not really have an income ceiling, a business where I've got clients making over $100,000 a month. This video is gonna be the reality check that you need to get tapped in to do exactly what needs to get done in order to build this business to 10K, 20K, even 50K a month. But first, we need to talk about the broke online coach loop. Here's the cycle that most online fitness coaches get stuck in. You decide you want to be an online coach, so you change your bio, you change your profile picture, and you start posting a few pieces of content. And just with this initial traction of you posting that you want to be an online coach, you gain some initial interest from people that are friends, family members, coworkers, or past clients. But once that initial traction dies down from the people that you already know, the people that are already in your network, all of a sudden your lead pool goes dry. Then all of a sudden you start doubting yourself, wondering whether or not this online coaching thing is for you, wondering whether or not you're gonna be able to hit 10K in your online coaching business, comparing yourself to other online fitness coaches that are more successful than you that have less followers than you, seeing all the transformations and the testimonials in my videos like this, but then asking yourself the question, am I ever gonna be able to do that for myself? So you start posting less, you start DMing less, you start doubting more, and most importantly, you start looking for shortcuts. What's the fastest way to generate leads? What's the easiest way to generate leads? What's the fastest way to hit 10K in my fitness business? You spend all this time and energy researching the fastest way, the best way, the easiest way to build your online coaching business, when in reality, you just need to focus on the fundamentals. This isn't an issue that you're a shitty coach or that people don't want to work with you or that the market is too saturated. This issue is purely predicated on the fact that you're not following the right system. Here's what separates the successful online fitness coaches from the unsuccessful online fitness coaches. Broke online coaches focus on the emotion that they feel. Successful online coaches focus on the execution that must get done. See, if you're simply relying on motivation to build your online coaching business and you're only doing it when you're fired up and excited, you're gonna get smoked every day, all day, by the coach that's willing to post every day, once a day, 7 days a week for 365 days of the year. That coach over an extended timeline of 2 years is going to absolutely surpass you in every business metric: leads, clients, sales calls, revenue, happy customers, social media growth, all of it. You cannot scale your business if you're operating from an emotional standpoint. What you need to do is you need to identify what are the habits and rituals that are involved in building a successful online coaching business, and how do I do those things every single day. This is not sexy. This is not fun. This is not exhilarating. It's the same thing that you tell your fitness clients when you tell them to track their macros. See, most fitness clients do the same shit. They look for keto, intermittent fasting, the carnivore diet, some sort of stupid shortcut to fast track progressive overload and tracking your macros. Nobody likes the idea of being in a deficit, but everybody wants to have the body that they want. Just like everybody wants to have an online coaching business, but nobody likes the idea of putting in the work every single day. And so identifying what the fundamentals are in your online coaching business that lead to success, and then doing those things every single day, regardless of how you feel, is how you're going to scale your business to $10,000 a month. And maybe that might turn you off of this video, and maybe you might go find another business guru that promises you 35 leads in the first 24 hours. Go ahead, because you're gonna spend the next 2 to 3 years of your life looking for shortcuts. Meanwhile, the clients that are inside of my coaching container and listening to my videos are focusing on the day after day after day fundamentals that are building their online coaching business. You need structure, routine, and discipline. Now, I don't want this to be another mindset video where I'm just rambling off bullshit and not giving you tactical value, so I'm gonna give you the 3 habits that you must focus on if you wanna build your business to $10,000 a month. Number 1, content. You need to be spending a minimum of 20 minutes on content every single day if you want to build your online coaching business. The reason I say a minimum of 20 minutes is because even if you have a 9 to 5 job where you're spending tons of time working for somebody else, you can find 20 minutes to dedicate to posting. In that 20-minute time frame, you have to get 1 post up on social media. Do this every day, 7 days a week for the next 365 days, and I guarantee you will be at $5,000 to $10,000 a month. Number 1 is content. Number 2 is generating leads. Most online fitness coaches wait for people to line up and ask for them about coaching, but guess what? That just doesn't happen. You wanna know why? Because the clients that are inside of my container are sending out messages to people that are following them, watching their content, consuming their stuff, and saying, hey Nick, thanks so much for the follow, brother. I appreciate you on a fitness journey or just enjoying the content. So the clients that used to send you inbound leads and be inbound traffic are now getting eaten up by the rest of the market that's smart enough to do outreach to their followers, people liking their posts on social media, people commenting on their stuff on social media. So you need to be one of those smart coaches that sends messages to prospects that are in your audience. And if you need some help with the DM script, just go right here. And the third thing is delivering value to your current clients. Spend 20 minutes every single day delivering value to your current clients. Even if, again, you're working a 9-to-5 job and you have something else going on, you can spend 20 minutes a day messaging your clients back, making sure that they have a program that they need, making sure that you're answering all their questions so that they feel supported, so that they stick around in your program and they don't just drop off after month 1. These are the 3 foundational habits that you must do every single day, 5 to 7 days a week for the next 365 days if you want to build your business. Now, obviously, there are other things involved in building your coaching business, like getting on sales calls, building programs, doing check-ins. But these 3 habits are the foundation of everything. All of my coaches that are making consistent $10,000 to $100,000 a month have embodied these 3 habits and made them a part of their ritual. So much so that it's like brushing your teeth. Listen, not everybody likes brushing their teeth every single day. I know I don't, but I do it anyways because I don't want my breath to stink and I don't want my teeth to fall out. So if you want your business to grow and you don't want your revenue to stink and you want it to stand out, then you need to master the 3 fundamental habits that are involved in building your online coaching business. The reason that 99% of coaches stay broke is because they don't focus on foundation and habits, they focus on motivation and emotion. If they feel good, they post. If they don't feel good, they don't post. If they got leads coming in, they're happy. If they don't have leads coming in, they're not happy. If they're booking sales calls, they're sending DMs. If they're not booking sales calls, they don't send DMs. You're emotion-based. And if you're emotion-based, you won't build a business that hits $10,000 in revenue because to hit 10K, you need to have habits and rituals. Your business rewards consistency. That means posting when you don't feel like it, sending DMs when you don't feel like it, and serving your clients when you don't feel like it. And doing all of those things with a smile on your face, knowing that everybody else is quitting while you're putting in the work. If you say you want to hit $10,000 a month, then prove it. Spend 9 to 5 working for somebody else and then 5 to 9 working for yourself. Spend the time that you need consistently every single day on the 3 habits that I mentioned in this video, and I promise you in the next 365 days, your revenue will be in a completely different spot. Don't look for shortcuts, don't look for gimmicks, don't look for the coach that promises you 100 leads in the next 30 days, because these coaches are all liars because they just want to take your money and run away with it because they don't want to tell you the truth. And the truth is that this takes time. You have to build the foundation. You have to build the fundamentals. And yes, I do have coaches that come into my program and hit $10,000 a month within the first 3 months. But also, those coaches are outliers. The more likely scenario is that it's going to take you 6 months to hit 5K a month, 12 months to hit 10K a month, as long as you're doing all the foundations and the fundamentals. And then we can improve your DMs. We can improve your content. We can improve your delivery. But we can't improve any of that if you don't even hit the start button. And then once you hit the start button, you don't do that consistently every single day. Getting clients is one thing, but keeping them is another. And before you turn off this video and go search for a lead gen tactic, you need to understand that this is the reason that your business hasn't grown to $10,000 a month. Because you're focusing on client acquisition and you're focusing on content. And listen, I get it. That's how you bring new clients in the front door. But if you sign 10 new clients, you have 10 clients leaving, you don't have a successful business. You've got a revolving door. So if you want recurring revenue, you want your clients telling their friends about you, you want a community that builds over time, not disintegrates, and you want to have a loyal fan base that will come to your events, upgrade, renew, re-sign, then this video is for you. See, most coaches close the door on any extra work that needs to happen once they close the sale. You work so hard to get the client in the front door, then once they're in the front door, you're like, enjoy your meal plan and training plan, check in with me when you can. As an online fitness coach, you need to understand that the training and the nutrition plan is literally less than 50% of the equation. Yes, I understand that it's important to get your clients results, and yes, I understand that you need to have a firm understanding of training and nutrition in order to do so, but the biggest thing that's gonna keep people around is the results that they get inside of your container. Now, results that they get inside of your container are not purely predicated on the training and nutrition plan. Wanna know why? Because I can go to ChatGPT right now and I bet you I can get just as an effective plan as if you wrote it yourself with your training and nutrition knowledge. If I plug in the right prompts and I spend the right time, I can get a meal plan and training plan that's just as effective. What's gonna keep clients around for longer is not the information that you are providing for them, it's the accountability, the support, and the community that you give to them. So in this video, I'm gonna teach you exactly how to build a world-class product for your online coaching business so that people stick around and they never wanna leave. Step number 1, onboarding. This part of the program is seemingly overlooked by most online fitness coaches, but you need to write this down. Get the client into green light right away. What this basically means is how fast can you get your clients into momentum? You need to understand what your clients' goals are, and then based on those goals, ask yourself what's the next logical step once they sign up to get them into momentum. Now, I know what you might be thinking, the fastest thing that I can do to get them into momentum is get them the training and nutrition plan. But again, that goes back to the conversation that we had at the start of this video. Training and nutrition is only a small part of it. How can you get them some small wins that they could achieve immediately as soon as they sign up so they feel like they're getting wins in your program? I'll give you an example. Instead of just waiting 7 days to send them their training and nutrition plan, what if you sent them a get started guide that had a bunch of things that they needed to pick up at Walmart or Costco or whatever before they got their program started, AKA a food scale, AKA Tupperware containers, aka a big water jug, so that they can consume 2 to 4 liters of water a day. Getting them to go out and pre-buy some of the things that they're going to need to have success in your online coaching program will get them in the feeling of momentum before the program even starts. So send them a get started guide, let them know how much water they need to be drinking, let them know what they need to pick up from wherever they need to pick it up from, whether that's Costco, Walmart, whatever, and give them all these things, and then give them a piece of homework to go post in the community once they're done picking up all these things, so that other clients can see that they're new to the program. So what else can we do to get them into momentum right away? Obviously, you need to do their training in the nutrition program, so finish that. But once you finish it, don't just send it off to them. Book them in for an onboarding call where you can walk them through how to execute on their training and their meal plan. Make sure that they know how to log into the app. Most online fitness coaches struggle to retain clients because they don't do a proper onboarding. So you send your client the login information for Trainerize, Everfit, or whatever app that you use, and the client doesn't understand how to log in and get the most of the software, so they never log in the first place. Now you're stuck and struggling because your client hasn't logged into the program, so they're not able to use their training program. They feel frustrated and overwhelmed in the first 4 weeks. What's the likelihood that that client's gonna wanna re-sign based on their initial experience with you? Not very good. So to solve that problem, get them on an onboarding call and make sure you walk them through the training plan and the nutrition plan. Make sure that they've downloaded the app and they know how to use it. Make sure that they understand their meal plan and how to go grocery shopping for all the things listed on their meal plan. Make sure that they can ask you any questions about how the meal plans, the check-ins, and the training plan works. On that onboarding call, you can also walk them through expectations for your coaching program and what you need from them as a client to get the most out of this program. Beyond the Get Started guide and the onboarding call, you need to spend a lot of time making sure that your clients get success in the first 4 weeks, especially in the first week. Their first workout is a massive win. Celebrate them for it. Their first meal prep is a massive win. Celebrate them for it. Their first check-in is a massive win. Celebrate them for it. If you can get them into momentum in the first 4 weeks of the program, the chances of them sticking around for the remainder of the program and completing it is significantly higher. Step number 2, community. As soon as somebody joins your coaching program, the first thing that you need to do is introduce them to your Facebook community. The ideal scenario is that you actually get them to introduce themselves. So once you sign them up and everything's all good, you'll be like, okay, cool. So I'm gonna send you some onboarding stuff. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to join this group right away. I want you to make a post introducing yourself, telling us what your number one goal is for the program and why you decided to join the program. Getting your clients to introduce themselves as soon as they join the coaching program is gonna get an emotional buy-in, because when they post in the group and your other members support that post, all of a sudden they're gonna feel like they're supported on their fitness journey immediately. This sense of community is extremely important when it comes to building a successful online coaching business. Human beings are community-based animals. You know, think about football teams. You think about high school where we've got groups of friends. Everybody wants to be involved in a community. And so if you can give your potential clients and your current clients a community, a place where they feel like they belong, a place where they feel like they have other friends that support them in their goals, they're gonna be more likely to stick around for the long term because they feel like they are one with something special. So build your community. Getting your clients to introduce themselves is the first step. The second step is getting your clients to engage in that community. One of the ways that I like to do that is as soon as a client tells me a win with a check-in or over Trainerize, is I'm like, yo, Nick, that's amazing. Go post that in the group so we can celebrate that with the other members. So make sure that your clients are using the community. Now, on top of that, some other things that you can do to make sure your community is popping is hosting Facebook live streams. Why is this important? Listen, this is the thing. Even if you have 30 clients and only 2 to 3 of them show up for the live streams, people are gonna watch the replays, number one. And number two, the 2 to 3 people that do show up for those live streams are gonna be significantly more loyal clients and they're gonna be more active in the group. The more that you can give value to your clients and build relationships with your clients, the more likely that they are to stick around with you. And again, you don't wanna look at the numbers of the people attending and be like, oh, well, I'm gonna give up because there's only 2 people attending. It's not about that, because those 2 people are gonna be loyal, meaning they're gonna be more likely to support other group members, more likely to encourage other group members, and more likely to stick around for longer. Those 2 people are also more likely to refer their friends. So hosting live streams in your group, I would host a minimum of 2. One of them, I would do a Q&A where your clients can ask you anything. And another one, I would do a specific training where you're actually giving value around a topic in your industry that your clients need, that they're struggling with, basically paying attention to their check-ins, noticing a common struggle, and then doing a training on that so that your community continues to get value from you. That way, even if they get their fitness result, they're still more likely to stick around because they know that they're gonna continue to learn from you. Thing number 3, if you wanna keep clients for a long period of time, you need to be developing as a person. Developing as a person is very simple. If your clients follow you, if they pay you money, the reason that they're paying from you is to learn from you. So if they're not learning from you consistently and they feel like they've outgrown you, they will go find somebody else that they can grow with. And so as a personal trainer, it's your responsibility to not only upgrade your certifications so you can learn more information, it's also your responsibility to upgrade yourself, to work on your mindset, to do the deep internal work so that you have more information to give to your clients. It's also your responsibility to push yourself in your own fitness journey so that your clients can see your own fitness journey and they can be inspired by your fitness journey. Because if they're not inspired by your actions, why would they stick around for a long period of time when things get tough, when things become a struggle. But if they can see you working through your own struggle, working through your own self-limiting beliefs, working through your own fitness limitations, when they come up against their own limitations, they will use you as a source of inspiration to go through their own story. I had one of my clients on a VIP call the other day, and he just had a major fire in his business. He had to fire 6 of his team members. And he literally showed up to his call with me and he's like, yo, B and Cole, he's like, I used you guys as inspiration. He's like, because I see the way that you guys show up on coaching calls for us, and no matter what you're going through, you always say it's the best day of your entire life. And I realized that even though I'm having a shitty day and I had to fire 6 of my employees, I still wanted to show up with that best day of my entire life attitude. So I made the decision this morning that today was gonna be the best day of my entire life, and I've been acting through that. The reason that he was able to say that to me is because that's how I show up for my people, and because I'm always leading my people through that mantra, he was able to take that as inspiration and take it into his own life. So you want to become a leader worth following and always be working yourself and developing yourself as a person. Now, the fourth and final thing that you can do to make an absolute killer experience for your clients, this is super important. Monitor check-in compliance. It's so simple. If you have 15 clients, out of those 15 clients, how many of those clients check in? If it's 9, your goal is to get that number to 15. And listen, it's low-key kind of impossible sometimes, because sometimes it's like herding cats with clients, all right? But your goal is to get the check-ins to perfect. You might never attain that, but your goal is to get there. I'm gonna give you some rules for check-in. First things first, you need to have specific parameters around your check-ins. For me, when I was an online coach, I set my check-ins out Wednesday night at 6 p.m. They were expected back by Thursday morning at 9 a.m. So Wednesday at 6 p.m. I sent them out. Thursday morning at 6 a.m. I sent a check-in reminder. Thursday at 9 a.m. I checked to see who got their check-in in. And by noon, anybody who was late, I went in to see who hadn't submitted their check-in, and I sent them a follow-up voice note or video. Yo, Nick, what's going on? So I'm just looking at my check-ins for the week, and I noticed that yours isn't here, brother. So do me a favor and get it back to me. Your check-in is late, and I want to get back to you and give you some updates for the week. Even if you struggle this week and your check-in, you're not super proud of it, still get it done, because knowing where you're exactly currently at is going to help me make an adjustment for the week to help you get back on track. So no matter where you're at, do your check-in so I can help you out. Your job is to monitor check-in compliance. I can promise you for an absolute fact that if you have 6 clients that consistently don't check in, those 6 clients are consistently gonna be the ones that don't re-sign. So if you wanna solve your re-sign rate, don't wait until the end of the program to get clients to re-sign. Solve the problem before it becomes a problem. If you notice a client is missing check-ins, find a way to get their ass back on track. Sometimes it's sending them a voice note, sometimes it's sending them a video, sometimes it's messaging them on Instagram, sometimes it's fucking calling them because you have their number. They sign up to a sales call. So if a client's not checking in, I will call you. Hey Nick, your check-in has been late for the last 4 weeks and I've been sending you some voice notes, brother. Where you at? Get that client to get back on track before the program expires. They're gonna be significantly more likely to renew at the end of the program. Last and not least, you wanna build a re-sign system. So number 5 is to build a re-sign system. Do not wait until the end of the client program to go for the re-sign. That's the worst mistake that you could possibly make. The first place you wanna go for a re-sign is within the first 4 weeks. Why within the first 4 weeks? Because it's counterintuitive. Number 1, they won't be expecting it. And number 2, they're gonna be hyped up about the program. So if a client's getting an amazing result within the first 4 weeks, here's exactly what you say. Nick, you've been absolutely crushing in the first 4 weeks of the program, and I actually think we would do amazing for the rest of the year. So because you just signed up for the program, I actually wanna offer you a loyalty rate to sign up for the remainder of the year so that we can guarantee you that we hit that 25-pound weight loss goal by the end of the year. How does that sound? When they say yes, what you're gonna do is you're gonna offer them a 20 to 30% discount if they sign up for the remainder of the year. So you've already paid $9.99 for the 12-week program, and basically for my year program, it's gonna be $5K, but I'm gonna take that $99 off the $4K, so it's gonna be $4, and I'm also gonna give you a discount on the remainder of the year, so I'll give you a 20% discount, so I'll give you the entire rest of the year for $3K. How does that sound? Now you're gonna get a re-sign in the first 4 weeks, bam, instantly you start collecting more cash. That's the first place you go for a re-sign. The next place you go for a re-sign is when a client celebrates a big win. So if a client messages you and they're like, oh my God, I'm down 15 pounds. Nick, that's amazing, I'm super proud of you. How have you been enjoying your progress in the program so far? They're gonna say that they love you, that you're amazing, that you're handsome, beautiful, and you got nice glasses, and then you're gonna be like, okay, great, well, listen, I love working with you, and I'd love to work with you for the remainder of the year. So how would you feel about working with me for the next 12 months for a discounted rate? And they're gonna say, sure, what would that look like? And then you can just send them a voice note and say like, work with me for the year. What I can do for you is I can give you like a 20 to 30% discount. So you've already invested $9.99 with me, that's amazing. So I'll take that off of the year installment. I'm also gonna give you a 20% discount because you're a loyal client. So typically speaking, it would be $4K, but if you sign up right now for the remainder of the year, I'll give it to you for $3K. How does that sound? Boom, now you get a re-sign when they get a big win. The next place you wanna go for a re-sign is when they're 4 weeks out from their program expiring. The way that you go for a re-sign isn't to ask them if they want to renew. The way that you go for a re-sign is this. Hey Nick, what's going on? I just wanted to check on your progress in the program so far. How are you liking things? Oh, it's amazing. I love you, blah, blah, blah. You got nice glasses. Okay, that's great. So I'd like to actually book in for a check-in call to check in your progress on the program so far and to give you a game plan moving forward. I've got some time available tomorrow. So then just send your calendar link. Go ahead and book in here. Spots always fill up quick. Send me a screenshot and let me know you time you pick. Cool, question mark? Then when you're on that call, you're just gonna run them through a renewal script. So these 5 things by themselves are gonna help you build a world-class product for your online coaching business. Now you're not gonna have a revolving door business. You're gonna have a business that continues to stack month over month. You're a great coach, you care about people, you want to help people, but you're still broke. Why? Because nobody knows who the fuck you are. I'm gonna give you the blueprint to solve that problem and how to become an authority in your space, AKA the go-to person for your niche. And if you don't know why having a niche is important, go watch this video. Now listen, if you've created a niche already, but every single day you're waking up praying that somebody has DM'd you about your coaching offer, this is for you. Authority in your niche isn't given, it's built. And it starts and ends with how you show up online. So let's break down the step-by-step process that you need to become an authority in your niche. Here's the thing about authority, here's the thing about credibility, here's the thing about social media. It's perception. You can go from an absolute nobody to the go-to person in your niche in the span of 6 months with perception. When I first started my business for personal trainers, I literally stated in my first videos that I made, I'm the #1 business coach for online personal trainers. Now at the time, that wasn't true. I was a nobody. I came from nothing. I built my online fitness business to $50,000 a month before I became a business coach for others. But when I first started saying I'm the #1 coach for personal trainers, when I first started saying that, it wasn't true. I was making it up. But that's the thing about social media. Social media is a game of perception. So at first I was making that blanket statement and then I backed it up with results. And the results that I backed it up with are what I'm gonna talk about in this video. So first you need to make the bold claim, you need to make the bold statement that you're the go-to person in your niche. Once you make that bold claim and statement, you're gonna back it up with the concepts that I'm gonna give you in this video. And then sooner rather than later, you're gonna be dominating your niche and you're gonna become the go-to person like I am. At first it was just a statement. I'm the #1 business coach for personal trainers in my niche. Now it's a fact. I've worked with over 11,000 coaches in the industry and I have the most social proof on the market. Look at this. You don't need a PhD, you don't need a 6-pack, you don't need a fancy landing page, you don't need a funnel, you don't need 10 certifications, you need perception. And let me show you how to shift it. Now, in order to shift people's perception, you need to start making statements about who you are and what you do. I'm the #1 business coach for online personal trainers. So if you're gonna make a blanket statement, like I'm the #1 coach for busy moms that wanna lose 20 pounds or more, let's make that blanket statement and let's talk about how we're gonna back that statement up. See, the reason that most coaches fail at this is because they make that blanket statement, like I'm the #1 business coach for online personal trainers, and then they don't back it up with effort. So what I did is I said that I was the #1 coach, then I identified what is the #1 coach in this industry doing right now. What he was doing was 2 podcasts a week. I was like, okay, he's doing 2 podcasts a week, I'm gonna do 5. And within a year, because I was doing 5 episodes a week and he was doing 2 a week, I surpassed him. So you can't just make the blanket statement that you're gonna be the #1 person in the industry and then not back it up with the effort to match it. So first things first, we need to make a statement about who you are and what you do. Then we need to start backing it up with evidence to support that statement. So I'm gonna give you 3 ways to back it up with evidence to support that statement that will slowly but surely build your authority over time. Number 1, you need to show proof that you're a walking example of what you're talking about. If you are the #1 coach for busy moms and that is the statement that you are making, then you need to show walking proof that you are living that example. Now, if you don't have any clients, it's gonna be really hard to show walking proof of that. So how do you do that? Every single post on your page needs to be dedicated to helping busy moms lose weight. Every single piece of your messaging in your content needs to be targeting at moms that are trying to lose the mom pooch, moms that are trying to lose the bat wings, moms that don't have time for the gym because they have their kids. All of your content needs to be living proof that you are the go-to person in your niche. If you make the blanket statement like I'm the #1 coach for busy moms and then I go to your page and you're posting your sick arm workouts, no wonder busy moms aren't reaching out to you. So you need to show proof that you are the walking example of what you are talking about. If you have clients that are busy moms, that's amazing because literally all you can do is showcase that proof of all those clients that are busy moms. But if you don't have proof, AKA you don't have clients, you need to show that you are a walking example for these people to follow. And the way that you do that is with the content that you produce. And the more content that you can produce on the subject, the better. For me, I was doing podcasts. Why? Because podcasts I knew was a great way to build my business. Now, when I first started my business, I wasn't doing podcasts because it was intimidating, but I was doing live streams 5 times a week. Every week I was going live, talking to my audience about building a successful online coaching business. So for you, if you're gonna make the statement that you're the #1 coach in your industry, then you need to back it up with content that supports that. And like my definition of content that supports that isn't just like, if you're a busy mom that's trying to lose weight, which is what most of you dorks do, it needs to be content that supports that in a way that's so valuable that the mom that's trying to lose weight comes to your page, watches your content, and just from watching your video starts to lose weight herself. Because when you do that, over a span of 2, 3, 4 months, you're gonna have moms that will start to follow you lose weight from your content, then reach out to you for coaching because they hit a plateau and they want to hit the next level. And the only person that they're going to trust with that journey is you, because you have already given them so much value with your page that they're like, holy shit, like I haven't even paid this guy and I've already lost 20 pounds. I wonder what his program would be like if I signed up for it. The second type of proof that is really going to shift in your audience, and this is why I put it number 2, is proof that you've actually helped others. Now, again, if you are a new online coach, this is something that you're gonna struggle with, which is why you should just focus on number 1. Literally give so much value around the subject matter that you're claiming to be an expert in that over time you shift the perception of your audience. But if you have the benefit of having clients you've worked with in the past or clients that you're working with currently, the more that you shout them out, the better. My rule for shifting perception is every single day on my Instagram stories, I'm always posting client transformations. I'm always posting results that my clients are getting. I'm always posting wins from inside of my client community. Because that way, no matter what day of the week that a busy mom comes to my profile, they go to my story, client win, client win, client win, client win. Over time, what this does is it shifts the perception. Literally, people in my audience know for a fact that if they go to my Instagram stories, they're gonna see client wins. Everybody in the industry knows that I'm the best business coach for personal trainers because when they go to my page, they see $100,000 a month, $500,000 a month, $200,000 a month. And over time, they're not counting up how many client wins that I'm showing. All that shifts in their head is like, yo, Brian knows how to get clients results. Fun fact, I literally had a conversation with one of my clients the other day. And he was like, so I was on a call with a guy that was like potentially gonna be my business coach. And I was telling him that I wasn't sure about signing up with him or you. And the other business coach literally said, go sign up with Brian. The results that he gets his clients are absolutely crazy. Now, the only reason that that happened is because I've shifted the perception of my audience. And the way that I shifted the perception of my audience is I was so consistent with my social proof that I was sharing of other clients getting results that eventually people in my audience were like, Brian knows how to get people results. Now when people are in my DMs asking about coaching programs, it's not, is this program gonna work? The question is, am I ready to make the investment? It's less about their trust in me as a person, and it's more about, am I prepared to do the work that's required in order to get these results? Because I know for a fact the program works, I just need to identify whether or not I'm gonna put in the work. And the third thing that you can do to shift the perception of your audience to become an instant authority is prove that you are never going anywhere. Most online fitness coaches are consistent for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then they drop off the face of the planet. They go through a breakup, they get overwhelmed with content, they get burned out, they get frustrated, and as a result, they go somewhere. Where? Who f***ing knows, right? But your audience doesn't care. Your audience doesn't care because your audience just wants to go to somebody that's gonna be a resource for them, a trusted resource for them. And so the number one thing that you can do to shift the perception of your audience is just prove that you're in this for the long haul. The reason I became the number one business coach in the space is obviously because I'm awesome and I get clients results. But the number one reason is I just stayed consistent for 7 years. There's other business coaches that have come in the space, they've come and gone, come and gone, come and gone. They had a wave, they lost the wave. They had a wave, they lost the wave. They were catching up to the number 2 spot. Nobody will ever take the number 1 spot. But then all of a sudden they drop off the face of the planet. But I've just been consistent for 7 years. So I'll have a client that signed up in 2019 that comes back to me in 2023 that then leaves and tries another program that comes back to me in 2025 because I'm still here. You just need to prove that you're not here for the short term. Most of you dorks post on social media for 3 months, wonder why your business doesn't blow up, and then you stop posting, then you come back and you need to restart your momentum. Just be consistent for a long enough period of time where people realize that you're not going anywhere. And when you do that, you become an authority. Just because you're there, just because you're present. Literally showing up is 90% of the battle because most people quit when it gets hard. Oh, I'm not getting enough leads. My content isn't hitting. The algorithm changed. I can't figure out why my sales calls aren't converting. And then they just stop. All you have to do is just be consistent. All you have to do is continue to show up. If you continue to show up for an extended period of time with everything we talked about in this video, eventually people will see you as an authority. So make a bold statement about who you are and what you're here to do. All right. Now back that statement up with effort. Start posting consistently, like every single day. Value that's so valuable that people could watch your content, get results without hiring you. And value that's aimed directly at your ideal client avatar. Post so much social proof of your clients getting amazing results every single day on your Instagram so that people can see like, holy crap, like, you know, working with this guy means that I'm gonna lose weight. Working with this guy means I'm gonna build my business. Working with this guy means that I'm gonna grow. And then finally, be so persistent and consistent and disciplined over an extended period of time that eventually people just trust you. You become their go-to resource when it comes to losing weight. When you do this and you become the go-to resource, eventually, it might not be this week, it might not be this month, it might not be this year, but eventually those people in your audience will sign up for your coaching program. Becoming an authority in the space is easy. And the reason it's easy is because 99% of people do not have the wherewithal to just outlast everybody else. Everybody's just looking for quick fixes and shortcuts and optimizations instead of just focusing on the fundamentals of what actually matters in your coaching business. What actually matters is posting content that gets better over time, getting leads on sales calls, closing those leads on sales calls, and then delivering an amazing service to your clients. Those are the 4 fundamental skills that you need to build a successful online coaching business. If you do that and you master the authority-based things that I talked about in this video, I promise you in 12 months time from now, your business is going to be in a completely different spot. I need more leads, I need more sales. No, you don't. You need a customer journey. I'm gonna break down what a customer journey is, and I'm gonna explain to you why it's so important for growing your coaching business. Most online fitness coaches think that in order to scale their business, they just need to get more leads and they need to get more clients. But what you don't realize is that as many people are coming in the front door, are leaving out the back door, or slipping through the cracks in the middle because you have a leaky system. So without understanding what it looks like for a customer to go from the front of your funnel when they first come in contact with you to a lifetime customer, you're gonna be leaving thousands upon thousands of dollars on the table. In the last 11 years, I've worked with over 11,000 people in my online coaching business, and I'm gonna teach you the 7 levels of leads that you need to understand, and we're gonna map them out in a customer journey so you know exactly what to do at each stage. First things first, a complete and total stranger. This is somebody that's never heard about you ever before on the internet. This is where the majority of your potential clients are gonna be. Now, most online fitness coaches try to sell to complete strangers, AKA sending DMs to people on hashtags or friending people on Facebook that have no idea who they are, and then sending a message asking if they'd like their service. Obviously, this is a massive mistake. You'll have just as much success doing this as walking up to a barista at Starbucks and asking her if she wants to buy your online coaching program. We need to understand this part of the customer journey, the complete and total stranger, and know that our job is not to sell to them. Our job is to get our message in front of them so they can meet us for the first time. From complete stranger, the next stage is a cold lead. A cold lead is defined as somebody that has just got introduced to you and your message. This person could be somebody that really needs your help, but because they're just getting to know you, they're not as interested in buying. This is someone who's in our network but isn't engaging with our content, someone we've recently friended on Facebook, a new follower on Instagram, someone who responds to an ad, or somebody that comments on our TikTok. Now, I want you to imagine meeting somebody for the first time and the first thing that they say is, "Hey, what's going on, Nick? My name's Brian. You wanna buy my shit?" Now, of course, that's super awkward and feels super weird, but many of us do that with our online coaching business. As soon as somebody comes into our following, we're like, "Hey, Nick, thanks so much for the follow. Do you wanna buy my stuff?" Now, obviously, we should engage with these people and start a conversation, but our intention should not be to sell these people because these people are new to our audience. Our intention should be to message these people and to see if there's any sort of interest. Now, here's a rule of thumb, and I want you to write this down. Out of every 100 people that follow you on Instagram, 50% of those people are never gonna buy anything from anybody. This is the same rule across all marketing principles. Out of every 100 people that you get on your email list, 50% of them are never gonna buy anything from anybody. But most online fitness coaches struggle because they're trying to chase those 50%. Now, out of that 100%, 35% of those people are gonna buy something from somebody in the next 2 years. And out of that 100%, 15% of those people are gonna buy something from somebody in the next 90 days. So when it comes to cold leads, our only job is to send out messages to identify who's interested in our service, AKA who's responsive. And then out of those people, we're gonna find that 15% of people that are interested in becoming the now buyers, we're gonna book a sales call with those people. Out of the 35% of the people, which is gonna be the large majority, we're gonna start sending free value and resources that they can consume on their own time so that they can start to warm up to the idea of wanting to work with us. Now, the third stage of the customer journey is somebody who's a warm lead. This is somebody who DMs us or votes on our stories, somebody who engages with our Instagram content, somebody who watches our stories and engages with us on social media. Now, warm leads are the best kind of leads, and I would say the large majority of the people that are going to express interest in your offer are going to be warm leads. These are people that are going to be interested in what you have to say and interested in what you have to offer, but they're not 100% sold on you or the vehicle yet. An example would be a busy mom that's in your audience that wants to burn body fat, and she really might want to start her fitness journey, but she's not sure if you, the person, are the right person to help her solve that problem, or she's not sold on the vehicle, AKA the way that you were going to help her lose that fat. She still might be interested in losing fat, but she might not be sold on you or the vehicle that you're using to lose that fat. Now, our job with warm leads is to book sales calls with these people. Our job with warm leads is not to try to sell these people anything in the DMs. Our job with warm leads is not to give a bunch of information about what we offer in the DMs. The only thing that you want to do with warm leads is get them booked into the sales calendar using the DM script. Also, this is a side note. If you don't know what the DM script is, you can watch this video right here. Write this down and don't forget. Write this in the comments, actually. The DMs are for booking the call. The call is for selling the program. Now, the next stage of the customer journey is called a hot lead. So we go from stranger to cold to warm to hot. Somebody that is a hot lead is somebody that is interested in buying. This is somebody that's been watching you on social media for the last few years, or maybe they saw an ad that you posted and they send you an inbound love letter, or maybe they applied for your coaching program directly, or maybe they just shot you a message and being like, yo, Nick, I really want to work with you. I've been watching for a long time, et cetera, et cetera. These are people that we need to get booked into the calendar immediately. We shouldn't try to sell them over the DMs. We shouldn't try to do a big pitch. What we should do is immediately, as soon as they come in, ask 1 or 2 questions and then offer a free consultation to get them on the phone to talk about their goals and to see if you can help them out with anything. Now, cold, warm, and hot leads are going to be different in the sales process. Cold leads will still book a phone call, but they're going to be harder to sell. Warm leads are going to book a phone call and they're going to be pretty easy to sell. Hot leads are going to book a phone call and they'll be very likely to buy. And if you want the phone script to convert these leads, you can check that out right here. So when we think about the customer journey as a 7-step process, we've talked about the first 4 steps. These 4 steps are where most people spend a majority of their time on. And this is why the majority of online coaches that ever start never get to $10,000 a month. But the top 1% of online fitness coaches, the ones that scale to $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 a month, like some of the clients that you see here, they focus on what happens after the sale. And so the 5th stage of the customer journey is somebody that becomes a buyer. Now we really need to pause and have a conversation about this, because when somebody makes the decision that they're going to take their hard-earned money out of their pocket and put it into yours, that's a big transaction. You got to think about it. If you're selling a $1,000 online coaching package, some people will have to work for an entire week. So that's 40 hours worth of their life that they spent to earn that money to hand it over to you. Now, most online fitness coaches don't have reverence or appreciation for that. And so when somebody signs up for the program, they do the meal plan, they do the training plan, they send them on their way, they check in with them once a week, but they don't actually focus on the buyer experience. We need to really be focusing on the buyer experience, meaning as soon as somebody makes a purchase from us, what is the next thing that we make them feel? Do we make them feel good about the purchase? Do we have an extremely clear onboarding process so that client feels appreciated and valued? Do we focus on the first 4 weeks of that customer's experience to make sure that not only do they get into the program, but they actually have an amazing experience in the first 4 weeks of the program? This is really where you need to focus if you are a new online fitness coach, is once somebody makes a decision that they're gonna hire you as their online fitness coach, that you don't just spend all of your time and energy chasing new prospects and chasing down leads. You spend a majority of your energy focusing on the onboarding experience, AKA the first 4 weeks. Now, here are some of the things that I'd recommend to focus on in the first 4 weeks to make sure your clients get an amazing experience. First things first, you need to have a very clean onboarding process. My definition of very clean is very simple, and it's 3 things. Number 1, there's a very clearly defined next step. Once you get off the phone with the prospect, you need to clearly define what the next step looks like. All right, next, so how you feeling? Nervous, excited, ready? Amazing. So next step is I'm gonna send you over the client questionnaire. I need you to get that back to me within the next 24 hours. Once you get that back to me, I'm gonna get to work on your online coaching program, and that program is gonna be done within the next 7 days. Does that make sense? Perfect. Is there any other questions that you have for me while I'm here, or are you just ready to get this thing rocking and rolling? Fantastic, brother. Okay, I'll send over that questionnaire right away. You just made the best decision of your entire life, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Now there's a very clearly defined next step so that the prospect knows what's coming next. So that's on the call. Once they return their questionnaire back to you, you need to clearly define what the next step looks like. Okay, next, so now that you got me your questionnaire back, I just want you to know that your program will be done within the next 7 days. So stay tuned. I'm super excited to get you onboarded. Then the next 7 days comes by, you deliver that program. Again, you need to have a very clearly defined next step. All right, next, so I just sent over your program to you. What I want to do now is I want to book in for a quick little 15-minute call to walk through everything in the program to make sure you clearly understand everything. Do you have some time later today or even tomorrow? Once you do the onboarding kickoff call, then the same thing. You're going to walk them through all the stuff, then you're going to have a very clearly defined next step. Okay, so now that we've gone through everything, Nick, the next thing that I need you to do is you need to go to the grocery store, pick up all your food, do your meal prep, and then post a picture in the community so that everybody else can see that you did your first meal prep. You have any questions for me? Amazing, brother. Looking forward to seeing the post, and I'll talk to you soon. This is something that you should integrate into every part of your coaching, is a very clearly defined next step. If you can do this with every touch point that you have with your client, and you can make sure that they always know what they're supposed to do next, you're gonna be moving them closer to their fitness goals, and it's gonna make it easy to make sure that clients don't fall off track. Now, let's talk about the first 4 weeks, what you need to focus on to make sure that your clients have an amazing experience. When you send a client right away, add them into your Facebook group and get them to introduce themselves right away. This is gonna cause the client to have emotional buy-in. The reason that this is super important is because if the client has emotional buy-in before they get their questionnaire back to you, this is basically gonna be a micro commitment from the client to the group. Not only that, you also wanna get your other group members to welcome that client to the group so that the client feels seen and appreciated as soon as they join the group and they spend their hard-earned money. Now, within the first 4 weeks of the coaching program, once you get their program done, you do your kickoff call, the next thing that's really important to make sure that the client gets amazing experience is you need to make sure that they're checking in for their workouts, especially in the first 4 weeks. If at any point you notice your client not submitting their check-ins or not doing their workouts in the first 4 weeks, you need to get them on it. Whether that be a text message, an Instagram message, a phone call, you need to make sure that your clients are compliant in the first 4 weeks, because if the client doesn't get results in the first 4 weeks, the likelihood that they will want to continue beyond the first 4 weeks is small, And the likelihood that they will renew at the end of the program is small because they're gonna feel like they wasted their time in your program because they didn't get the result. Now, of course, we all know that they didn't get the result because they didn't check in, but they're not gonna think that. They're just gonna think, oh, this program didn't work for me. So your job, especially in the first 4 weeks, is to spend a lot of time and energy making sure that your clients are following through on their check-ins, following through on their workouts, and if they're slipping on any way, shape, or form, you need to get them back on track. Now, if you do your job correctly over the course of the next 12 weeks, you're gonna have your clients come up for renewal, which leads us to point number 6 in the customer journey. And this is where most online fitness coaches struggle, and this is why you don't have a successful business yet. Number 6 is a repeat buyer. The 6th stage of the customer journey is somebody that's willing to spend money on you again. Somebody that's willing to take their hard-earned dollars out of their pocket after the 12 weeks and say, you know what, Nick, this was an amazing experience. I actually wanna work with you again. Why is this so important for you? Because if you don't have this, then you're gonna sign 10 new clients month 1, 10 new clients month 2, 10 new clients month 3. So now month 3, you have 30 clients, but on month 3, those 10 clients that you signed on month 1 left you. So now you're gonna sign 10 new clients, so you're still gonna be at 30. Clients from month 2 left you, 10 new clients, month 4, there's new clients left you, and you just keep repeating the same cycle. And this is why most online coaches never get to $10 to $20 to $50,000 a month, because all the new clients you're signing are leaving at the end of their program. Your job, but write this down, this is super important. Your job is to have a minimum 50% re-sign rate. That is the bare minimum. If you have an over 50% re-sign rate, you're doing a good job. If you have under 50% re-sign rate, you're doing a terrible job. If you have over 50% re-sign rate, you're doing an amazing job. 50% of the people that come to the end of the program re-sign with the program is a very good number to shoot for. Anything below that, you have a serious problem. Now, we've already done some videos where we talk about how to get client renewals, so I'm not gonna go into that right now, but what you need to understand is if you wanna have a business that hits $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 a month, then you need to have repeat buyers, people that are willing to spend their hard-earned money on you over and over and over again. And the way they're gonna do that is based on 2 things and 2 things alone. Number 1 is the results that they get inside of your coaching program, and number 2 is the connection that they feel to you. If they're getting results and they feel connected to you, they're gonna re-sign. Now, number 7 is the most important part of building a business that lasts for years. It is the reason that PT Domination has lasted over the course of the last 7 years. It's the reason we're currently working with over 2,000 active clients. It's the reason that we've helped 400 plus online coaches hit $10,000 a month. It's the reason that we've been able to host 6 in-person events and sell out every single one of them. It's very simple. Number 7 is a lifetime customer. The 7th stage of the customer journey is somebody that is your customer for life. Somebody that is willing to pay you over and over and over again because they couldn't imagine their life without your service. Somebody that's willing to come to the events that you throw. Somebody that's willing to upgrade to VIP. Somebody that's willing to spend money to come hang out with you. Somebody that's willing to refer all of their friends to you. Somebody that would rather, this is a fun fact. So when I worked at Aesthetic Nation, I was working with this client. And I'd been working with him for 4 years. His name was Sean. He's an amazing dude. Worked with him for 4 years. There was 1 month where he came against financial hardship. He actually didn't tell me about it. And his recurring monthly subscription was just coming out. And 6 months beyond his financial struggle, he actually gave me a call. He's like, hey, I just want you to know that 6 months ago, I was going through some really tough financial times. I was like, oh, dude, I'm sorry. Why didn't you let me know? He's like, I didn't let you know because I would have rather lose the electricity in my house than lose the coaching with you. I want you to think about that for a second. That man would have rather lost the electricity in his house. He would have rather gotten his power bill cut than lose out on the coaching program. That's how valuable the service was to my clients. I believe that when you help enough people get what they want, eventually you get what you want. If you focus more of your time and energy on delivering an amazing service to your clients, if you focus more on your time and energy on making sure your clients get amazing results, if you focus more of your time and energy on over-delivering to the clients that you currently have, you're not gonna have to worry so much about signing new clients. And so no, you don't need more leads. No, you don't need more clients. You need to learn how to take better care of the clients that you currently have. Because if you can learn to take better care of the clients that you currently have, you're not gonna have to sign so many new clients because the clients that are already with you are gonna stick with you for life. I'm going to talk about exactly how to create a culture inside of your coaching business that makes people never want to leave. And I want to break down exactly what it takes to create a culture inside of your business where clients feel accountable for themselves, but also connected to you. See, I think a lot of coaches end up being glorified babysitters. What I mean by glorified babysitters is you're chasing clients down and you're trying to get them to come back to the group and you're trying to herd a bunch of your clients and you're basically like herding cats. You're trying to get all these people to do all these random things that they quote unquote committed to when they signed up with you in the first place. And so I really want to break down what it's going to take somebody from complete, just getting started, to becoming a little bit more self-accountable, to becoming fully self-sustaining, and then contributing to the culture inside of your coaching container. It breaks down to 4 specific things. I'm gonna break them down one at a time. First things first, when it comes to culture, clear expectations in the onboarding. One of the things I do with every single new client that joins my coaching program is get an onboarding call booked in as soon as their program is ready. The reason that this is super important is twofold. One, you wanna make sure the client understands how to get the most value out of the program. Do they know how to log into Trainerize? Do they know how to access their meal plan? Do they know how to do their check-ins properly? You can walk through all of this on the onboarding call and basically hold their hand through the basic stuff in the beginning so they understand all the tech. The second reason that booking an onboarding call is extremely important with your clients is you want to communicate expectations. Not only what you expect from them, but what they can expect from you as a coach. So on these calls, it's very simple. Okay, so what's going to happen in this coaching program, Nick, is I'm going to send you a check-in every single week, and it's going to be on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Now, your check-in is due back by Thursday morning at 12 p.m. If it's beyond 12 p.m., it's going to be late. And if your check-in is late, I'm not going to get to it. So basically, I'm going to send you your check-in on Wednesday night. You need to get it back to me by Thursday morning. And if it's late, I don't respond to it. Does that sound good? Now, the reason I do it like this, Nick, is if I don't have your check-in data, if I don't have your week-to-week stats, then I'm not able to do my job efficiently, and I'm not able to change your macros or make any adjustments that need to happen so you can lose the weight. So my job is to get you the check-in so that I can make your adjustments. Your job is to get me the data from that check-in so that I can make the adjustments necessary so that you can lose the weight. Does that make sense? Perfect. Now, the client community is very simple. I want you to use it selfishly. So basically what I want you to do is I want you to go in there and I want you to post the things that you need, right? So any questions that you have, any concerns that you have, etc., any help that you need in your fitness journey. And I also would like you to go in there, and if you see anybody else struggling, just give it a like and leave a comment. I think that community support is extremely important because not a lot of us have this container where we have a bunch of people that support our goals, but that's one of the things that we try to focus on in this coaching group. Does that sound good? Perfect. So you're going to communicate all the expectations that you want out of your coaching program on this 15-minute onboarding call, which will set the standard for the culture in your group. Now, this is just a quick side note on culture, but I'm going to say it again. I said it in the last video as well. When your clients join your program, they need to introduce themselves to your group right away. If they don't engage with that community as soon as they join, the chances of them engaging with that community 6 months later is significantly less. So we want to create the culture where we get other people to engage with the group, because if we can get people to engage with the group right away, they're way more likely to do that for a long period of time. Now, the second part of creating culture is you being active in your own community. I see a lot of online fitness coaches that make these groups for their clients. It's like my private VIP group, but then they spend absolutely no time on it. They don't reply to posts in time. They're not posting in there. They're not doing any sort of live streams in there. They're just not active. So you need to dedicate a good 20 to 30 minutes every single day to going in and engaging with your community. If you're watching this video and you have a community and it's dead, it's your fault. It's the fact that you didn't pay attention to it, you didn't give it the time and attention it deserves, and as a result, your clients aren't seeing that community as valuable. So you need to be active in the community yourself. I personally would recommend leading by example. So as you're going through things in your own fitness journey, or as you're taking yourself to the gym, or even things you're struggling with, if you're sharing that inside of the coaching container, what's gonna happen is your clients are gonna feel that it's a safe space for them to share, and they're gonna be able to open up and follow your lead. So you being active means that you've got a posting schedule that you're posting in your group on a regular basis, that you're engaging with other group members that are posting in there, and that you're posting some of your own stuff in there as well, so your clients can see, okay, this is a community where I actually feel like there's a safe space, so I'm gonna open up and I'm gonna share a little bit more about myself. So use your Facebook group. Spend at least 20 to 30 minutes in it every single day. Have a posting schedule in there. Post your own journey in there, and make sure that you're replying to your clients that are posting in there and showing them that you appreciate them. Now, the third big part of building culture is hosting group calls. Now, I know that this might be a little bit nerve-wracking for you if you're an online fitness coach getting started. However, if you're not hosting group calls in your community and you're not giving your community more value than you're giving to the public, why would they pay you? What's the purpose? They could just watch you on Instagram. And so what you want to do is you want to dedicate specific time that you talk to your clients only that are paying you. And guys, we live online. You can literally open up your phone and go live in your group in 3 seconds. It is not that hard. And so once a week, bare minimum to start, I would recommend hosting some sort of Monday training. I personally like to do Monday mindset because I believe that the biggest reason that people don't get success in their life is because they struggle with their mindset. And because they struggle with their mindset, they're not able to do the day-to-day work. It's not a strategy issue, because if it was a strategy issue, they could just follow the program that you gave them. Most people struggle with their mindset. So what I personally like to do is on Monday, I'll do a mindset training, and then I will do a homework challenge associated with that Monday mindset training. The reason that I do that is because now throughout the week, that mindset training that I gave, my clients will be implementing the homework throughout the week, which means they're going to be using the community. The community is going to be more active, and other members are going to see the community being active when they go on Facebook, which means they're more likely to respond to their group and get back engaged with the community. Now, if you don't know what mindset topics you should talk about, it's very simple. Go into your client check-ins and see what people are saying. See what people are asking. Are all of your clients asking about how to switch out macros? Are all of your clients asking about morning routines? Are all of your clients stressed out because they don't have time to go to the gym? Whatever the common struggle is for the week, you want to do a live stream the following Monday about that subject. Now you're always giving your group what it needs. Now your group actually feels like it has life, and your clients are going to feel like you're speaking directly to them because you're talking about things that they have mentioned that they struggled to you. If you have under 20 clients in your coaching program, I'd recommend doing just a live stream. Typically speaking, these things are better done on Zoom, but unless you have over 20 clients, you're gonna do a Zoom call and 2 people are gonna show up. If you have over 20 clients, I recommend doing a Zoom call. Even if 4 or 5 people show up, you can still post a replay in the group, and when other members can see other members on the call, even if they don't attend the call, it's gonna give them FOMO and they're gonna wanna make time for the call. Now, in terms of what time you should actually host those calls at, I'd recommend hosting those calls at a time that your avatar will most likely be available. So if you work with busy parents, doing them at 3 p.m. probably isn't a good move because they're probably at work. So maybe doing them at 6 or 7 p.m. If you're working with stay-at-home moms, then you could probably do them anytime throughout the day when the kids are at school because there's not gonna be anybody at home. So you really gotta think about who your avatar is and base your call time around that. I personally work with personal trainers, so I do my calls in the middle of the day at 9 a.m. But if you have an avatar that has a specific work schedule, I would try to have the call time at a time where most of your avatar is gonna be able to attend. Now, I wouldn't expect attendance to be 20 out of 20. Like if you have 20 clients, you're probably gonna have 4 to 7 people tune into those live streams. However, the better that you get at those live streams and the more consistent those live streams are, the more people that will eventually attend. Start with 1 call a week, and if you wanna go up to 2 calls a week, you host 1 Monday mindset, and then you're gonna host 1 Q&A throughout the week where your clients can actually ask you questions directly. For Q&A live streams, I'd recommend posting a Q&A thread before the actual live stream itself, like a day before, and getting everyone to ask questions. And if nobody asks questions, you can just go to ChatGPT and grab common questions that clients of your avatar might be asking, and then answer those on a Q&A as if somebody asked you the question directly. Now, the fourth and final piece of the puzzle when it comes to building an amazing culture is you need to have a vision that you are working towards. You need to have a vision that your clients can buy into. For me, my entire mantra is to push myself to be the very best version of myself. And so on every single coaching call, I'm always talking about my own personal development, my own journey, and how my journey should inspire you to be the very best version of yourself because I'm always challenging and pushing my limits. My entire mantra at PT Domination is I want to be the very best that I can be. I follow that as my personal mission, that's my personal mantra as a leader. And because I, as the leader, have a vision for where I'm going with my life, I'm able to inspire my clients to have a vision for where they want to go with their life. And because I have a vision for my life, when my clients are in my presence, they can feel that vision, they can feel that power, and they're more motivated to follow my lead. So if you want to build a culture inside of your coaching container, you want to build a tribe of raving fans, you need to be working towards a bigger future. Not only for yourself, but also for your family and also for your clients. And when your clients can see that your bigger future is helping them achieve their big futures, and they can see that your vision as a leader is going to make them a better person, they're not going to want to leave your ecosystem. I've had many clients that end up leaving my ecosystem to go to another business coach and then end up coming back to me because I'm in growth mode. And so they'll leave me for a year, and then a year later, I've got 100,000 more followers and I've got 10 more clients over $100,000 a month. And now all of a sudden they see my growth curve and they see my vision and they want to come back to the container, not necessarily because the information has got significantly better, although it has, but they end up coming back because they see the growth curve. And when clients can see you growing as an individual, not only your business, but you as an individual, you as a person, when they can see your clients getting better and better results because you are leading them to better results, it's gonna be contagious and they're not gonna wanna leave you. And so if you wanna build an amazing culture, you need to have vision for yourself and you need to have vision for your business, and you need to communicate that vision to your team at all times. My job as a leader is to make you the very best version of yourself. And you as a fitness client might be with me for a year, you may be with me for 2 years or 5 years, but my job is to challenge you to be the very best version of yourself while you're here, so that for the rest of your life, you have this knowledge to be able to take with you and positively impact every area of your life. And if I can do that as a leader, I've done my job effectively. When you communicate like that and you show your clients that you have vision, they're not gonna wanna leave your program, because when they're in your program, they're gonna feel like they're better people. So that's it. You're not just selling training and nutrition, you're selling an entire experience. These are the 4 steps to creating an amazing culture. I'm gonna put them on screen for you. If you follow these steps inside of your coaching container, I guarantee you your culture is gonna improve. As a result of your culture improving, your clients are gonna refer their friends, they're gonna stick around for longer, you're gonna make more money. I got you. I'm gonna teach you how to make 1 week's worth of content in 1 hour. And I'm not talking about these BS reels that suck, that get low views. I'm talking about high converting reels that generate cash from your Instagram and turn people in your audience into paying clients. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Most coaches are stuck in what I call the content hamster wheel. You basically wake up, you're trying to think about what to post on social media, you might come up with an idea in your head, you might go to ChatGPT to search for something, and basically every single day you're trying to figure out what you're gonna post about today. And then you spend a bunch of time creating this piece of content and you post it on social media being really proud of it, only to realize that only 3 people liked it. One of them was your mom, one of them was your dog, and one of them was your cat. And we wanna start getting you content that generates you views. So let me break down the step-by-step process to get you off of the hamster wheel and actually start creating content that goes viral on social media. But don't just take my word for it. I wanna talk about one of my clients, Anthony Anisimov. Anthony started out in my coaching program and his videos used to look like this.
For strength, you're gonna wanna work in the 6 to 12 rep range. Week 1, start at 6.
Anthony, I love you to death.
Go to 7, go to 8.
After working with me and Cole over the course of 12 months, now his videos look like this.
One of the most important factors for growing muscle is stability, something you lack in your love life.
Now this is what his following was at when he first started, and this is what his following is at now. And this is how much money he made last month. So obviously you understand the importance of creating viral content, and you understand that if you get better at creating viral content, that you will make more money. So let me break down exactly how you can start creating better content for your specific niche. There's a 7-step process to creating viral Instagram reels. Let me break each one down individually. Step number 1, research. You wanna spend 15 minutes doing avatar research on viral videos that are already popping in your industry. All you need to do is think about your specific demographic, so let's say it's men's weight loss. Go to ChatGPT and type this in. Give me 10 different search terms for men's weight loss that I might be able to search for other videos in my niche from creators that are making content for these people. ChatGPT is gonna spit out a bunch of different keywords. You're gonna take one of those keywords and you're gonna go over to Instagram and you're gonna type that keyword in. Then you're gonna scroll over to the Reels tab. When you scroll over to the Reels tab, what's gonna happen is Instagram is gonna load the most viral content. What you wanna do is you wanna scroll through these viral videos and you wanna find one that is easy to replicate for you based on where you're at. So if you find one that's like highly edited, that's really well produced, obviously don't steal that one because that one's gonna be hard to do. Or maybe steal that one and then deliver it in a more simple format. But you wanna base your viral ideas off of the content that's already performed well. Why? Because Instagram has already shown that it's gonna reward people that create this type of content. So you wanna try to match your content style to that content style. Step number 2 is to study what works. Once you identify what the viral video is, then you actually need to sit down and spend the time watching the viral video, not as a consumer, but a producer. Here's what you're looking for. What did they say in the first 3 seconds? AKA, what was the hook? How was the camera set up? Were they talking to the camera? Were they using a selfie? Did they use multiple angles? What was the text on screen in the first 3 seconds? What sort of props did they use? What was the format of the video? Was it a one-on-one format, or was it a selfie format, or maybe it was a B-roll format? What was the pacing of the video? Did they do it really fast or did they do it really slow? Did they use humor, sarcasm, empathy, jokes? You're looking for what made this video go viral, and once you can find elements that made this video go viral that relate to your personality, you can steal those elements into your own viral content. Step number 3 is to not fucking plagiarize. When you find viral ideas, don't fucking copy them word for word. It makes you look like a dork. Plus, it's fucking rude, don't do it. This is an example of what not to do.
If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. Would you eat something with dihydrogen monoxide, or sucrose, or fructose, or potassium chloride? There's no way you'd eat ascorbic acid.
My homie Jeff popped off on social media and people are literally copying his content word for fucking word and prop for prop. Don't do that. Basically what you wanna do is you wanna take that viral concept, then you wanna ask yourself, how can I take this viral idea and insert my own expert advice? So let's just say the viral video says, don't eat these 3 foods on your fat loss journey. Well, you could take that viral idea and you could sub them out with different foods. Or if you wanted to use the same foods, you could take that viral idea and have a different hook. The worst 3 foods that you can eat on your fat loss journey are, I'm taking the concept, but I'm not taking it word for word. This is also where you need to insert your own expert advice. And so if the foods that the person is talking about in the video, you have no fucking idea what you're talking about, then maybe don't use the foods in those videos. Or maybe you disagree with this person on the foods that they shouldn't eat in the video. Then you could start your video by being like, the worst 3 foods that you could eat on your fat loss journey are cucumbers, eggs, and bananas. Said every dumb influencer on the fucking internet. And then that's your viral video, right? So you can take the viral concepts and you can agree or disagree with them, or you can take the viral concepts and recreate them with your own spin by changing the words in the hook or changing some of the stuff about the video itself and inserting your own expert advice. Basically, don't plagiarize. Step number 4 is to think about different formats. So let's say the viral video that you find is a 6-second B-roll video that talks about inflammatory foods. What if you took that concept and you delivered it in a split screen? Like this. I just hope people reach out to me. I build systems that trigger DMs daily. And then on one side of the screen, you could say something like, my gut hurts. And then the other side of the screen say, eat cucumber. Then one side of the screen you said, but I'm bloating. And then the other side of the screen says, eat lettuce. And then the other guy on one side of the screen says, but I'm tired. And then the other guy says, eat oranges, or whatever the fuck you guys eat, okay? I'm not a fitness coach, I'm a business coach, damn it. But you get the idea, right? You can take the concept and then you can create a different format. Another example is like, let's say it was a 6-second B-roll. You could literally do a fucking whiteboard video about that. Like this.
For application, use Typeform. For logo, use Look Good Design.
And you could say, the best inflammatory foods. And now you're doing it on a whiteboard. And you got the idea from a 6-second B-roll video idea. Now you're not a fucking plagiarizer. You're using the idea to create your own concept. Step number 5, once you've got the viral ideas and you got the concept that you want to communicate, you're gonna script the content. Follow this 4-step framework to script your content. Number 1, you've got to have a scroll stopping hook. I like to use negativity, exaggerated positivity, or humor. Example of negativity. The worst fucking mistake you can make on your fat loss journey is X. Example of exaggerated positivity. This is the single best fat loss hack I have ever found. Example of humor. Newsflash, homie, 1,200 calories is what my little fucking sister eats. Step number 2 is you add personality. In this part of the video, you can't just be a boring fucking dork that sits in your computer chair and just delivers value. You need to add personality to the video. You can do this by exaggerating. You could do this by using props. You could do this by filming in public and being a goof. Whatever the fuck you need to do to add personality, to add to your new unique personality. Maybe you're more soft-spoken and you just add personality by adding in like jokes. At the end of the day, if you're just reading off of a fucking script, your audience is going to be able to tell that you're not being authentic and they're gonna know that you got it from ChatGPT. So you need to add your own personality so the video feels authentic. Number 3 is you're gonna give step-by-step value. Don't give surface level bullshit. Don't give overarching opinions. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that you need to get more steps to lose weight, okay? Give a step-by-step plan to somebody through your video so that when they consume your content, they're like, oh, I actually got something from this. This is really valuable. I'm gonna use this today. And thank you, Brian, for being so handsome and giving this to me. And step number 4 is you're gonna add a CTA. Save this video. Leave me a comment below. Follow for more value. Comment 10K if you're interested in coaching, etc., etc., etc. Step number 6, you're gonna film all the videos in one setting. My recommendation when you're first getting started is to film 7 videos at a time. The reason you wanna film all of them at once is if you try to do it one day at a time, you're gonna get burnt out, you're gonna get exhausted, you're gonna get overwhelmed because you're gonna run out of ideas and it's gonna feel inauthentic. My recommendation is that you just get yourself into the state of filming. You just get yourself into flow because after the second or the third video, once you're into it, it's gonna be easier to create the content. So set aside an hour to batch record all of your content all at once, and then just like that, it's all done. And step number 7 is edit the video. Now, when you're first getting started, go to submagic.co. This is an AI editing app where you can literally upload your video. It's gonna add captions for you. It's not 100% perfect, but it does a lot of the work, and if you need to clean it up on CapCut, you can do that later. I would much rather use Submagic for your videos, though, than you spend hours and hours in CapCut, because listen, you're not a video editor, so stop trying to pretend to be one. And if you're making over $5,000 a month, go to onlinejobs.ph and hire a Filipino video editor. You can hire one of these guys for $10 to $25 a video, and just like that, you've got 7 videos a week, and if you're making over $5,000 a month, that extra $200 that you spend per week on getting your content edited is time. That's like 3 to 5 to 7 extra hours that you could spend generating leads, booking sales calls, talking to clients, etc., actually doing money-making activities instead of doing minimum wage tasks. And bam, just like that, we've got our 7-step roadmap. This is exactly how to create viral Instagram reels like a fucking boss. This is my social media posting schedule that generates me over $10 million every single year. And if you don't believe me, here's my Stripe. I'm showing you these numbers not to flex, but I just want to break down exactly what happens when you fully commit to a content process. I'm not going to hold back, and I'm going to tell you exactly what the I do. I'm not going to tell you what I recommend my clients to do or what I recommend other people to do because frankly, I'm just going to be honest, a lot of people can't keep up with me. I have a full-on media engine. I've got a full-on media team. I spend over $25,000 on my media team alone every single month. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what we do on a weekly basis that helps me generate over $10 million a year. So first things first, I post 6 times a day, 7 days a week on Instagram. Now, why do I do that? Because organic marketing is free. F-R-E-E. It costs me $0 to post on social media, and when I post on social media, I get more clients. I also did find that the more that I posted, it didn't affect my view count. At first, I thought the more that I posted, my views were gonna go down, but I actually found the opposite. The more that I posted and the more that I was in front of my ideal client, my views might have went down a little bit, but my DMs are fucking flooded. We book 15 sales calls every single day from my Instagram account alone. Not to mention the amount of calls that we're booking from ads, which we'll talk about in a second. But that's why I post 6 times a day, 7 days a week with Instagram Reels, carousels, etc., because I know that the more that I post, the more money that I'm gonna make. Now, in terms of types of posts that I make on social media, there's 3. I post connection, I post proof, and I post value. Connection content is where I'm helping my audience get to know me. This is stuff about my mindset, stuff about my personal relationships, stuff about my wife's pregnancy, stuff about when I first got started. This is my personal story, right? So that's connection content. Value content is a lot of the stuff that you guys are used to seeing and the stuff that you guys are seeing on this channel. It's step by step actionable content where you're actually going to be able to consume it and get results. And social proof content, which is the most important type of content for generating qualified sales calls in your calendar. Social proof content is where I'm actually demonstrating that I'm working with clients getting amazing results. Like these clients. Look at all those clients getting all those wins. Those are all clients inside of my Change Lives Academy coaching program. And I digress, back to the video. So that's just for my newsfeed. All right, so I post 6 times a day, 7 days a week on Instagram. I also have one of my team members posting 6 trial reels a day. We're posting 6 trials a reel a day. So in total, it's 12 times a day on Instagram, 6 on my regular feed, 6 on my trial reels. Now, on my other social media platforms, I am also posting multiple times a day. So I post 6 times a day on TikTok, 6 times a day on Facebook, 6 times a day on YouTube, and these are all for shorts. Now, in terms of the actual revenue that's generated from all of these platforms, I'm gonna be transparent. TikTok brings me in fucking dog shit, and we're talking about $0. Instagram is where I generate probably 80 to 90% of my revenue. YouTube actually generates me 10 to 15% of my revenue, which is cool because 2 years ago it was generating me $0. And Facebook, I actually don't use Facebook as a lead generation platform. I primarily use Facebook as a community for my clients. So Facebook actually doesn't generate me a lot of revenue. So Instagram is where I put all of my focus and all of my energy. That's where I do all of my own posting. Nobody else posts on my Instagram for me. I'm the only one that does that. The only person that's posting on my Instagram for me is my trial reels, and I've got a team member doing that. But like all the content that you guys see on my main feed is posted directly by me. Why? Because it's the biggest income generator. Why would I get somebody else to post on the main Instagram account that's my #1 money source? That doesn't make any sense. Too many of you guys are trying to outsource your business once you get to a certain level because you're trying to delegate. Delegating your marketing, in my opinion, is the stupidest thing, especially for organic. Yes, you might be able to delegate your emails. Yes, you can delegate posting on your company account, but when it comes to the account that generates you money for your business, delegation is the worst possible mistake that you can make. You're the one that understands your ideal client the best. You should be posting on your Instagram. Now, let's talk about my long form strategy. I currently at this point post 2 times a week on YouTube, Monday and Friday at 4 p.m. PST. Me and my videographer sit down and we ideate different YouTube videos that are gonna be valuable for my audience alone. I used to have a pretty random schedule with my YouTube in the sense that I would just kind of post whatever was on my mind or whatever I was feeling. But me and my videographer recently made a decision that we're only gonna be posting business type content on my YouTube channel because we want people to find my YouTube channel and then fall in love with the YouTube channel for all the value that it provides. Once in a while, we're gonna post like a lifestyle update to kind of give you guys an update on what we're working on. But for the most part on my YouTube channel, if you guys go through the videos, step by step, actionable value. Because one day when my channel blows up, I want people to come to my channel and literally find a fucking goldmine of content that's just been there for a long time that they didn't even know that they needed. All right, so my YouTube strategy is very simple. I want to provide so much fucking value that when somebody finds my channel, they're like, damn, I want to work with this dude. I will also say that at this point, like YouTube is probably the #1 thing that I'm focused on. And we'll talk about why in a second. There was a point where I was doing 5 YouTube videos a week. There was a point that I was doing 7 YouTube videos a week. We found that quality over quantity with YouTube is a better move because just because we were posting more long form videos doesn't mean that we were actually getting more subscribers or more views. In fact, it was less. When me and Nick decided that we were gonna focus on 2 YouTube videos a week instead of 5, instantly the quality got better, instantly the views went up, and we just found more fun actually creating the videos itself. So I do 2 a week. Now, in terms of podcasting was actually something that I was doing 5 days a week, every single week for the last 6 years. Recently, I cut that down to twice a week. And that actually seems a little bit weird to do, and you might be wondering why. And the reason is like, my Instagram account got restricted back in May. And when my Instagram account got restricted for something that was literally completely random, what ended up happening is my live stream ban, I got a live stream ban for 365 days. And once I got the live stream ban, I feel like that was kind of me forcing myself to take a step back from podcasting a little bit because I used to podcast and go live at the exact same time. And that was such a really good income generator for the business. And honestly, like, again, if you're just getting started, I think podcasting and live streaming is such a good move. There's a guy that you guys can go to for the podcasting. His name's Travis Brown. I'm gonna put his Instagram right here. If you DM him and tell him Brian Mark sent you, he's got a really good podcast service. He'll hook it up. And if you come as my referral, he'll take good care of you. I digress. I think that having a podcast is one of the things that you can have that will instantly separate you from everybody else. That's why I was doing it 5 times a week. I've got over 1,300 episodes, the Change Lives Make Money Online Training Podcast. But recently I went down to once a week to twice a week maybe, because I'll be honest, I lost passion for it. Like Once I stopped going live, like I wasn't talking to my audience anymore, it just didn't have the same effect as when I was going live and talking to my audience at the same time. So it kind of forced me to take a step back. So right now I'm doing 2 podcast episodes a week. One of them is called Pod Chats, where I actually do a coaching call with my clients, which is beneficial for my clients and my audience. It's beneficial for my clients because they obviously get to talk to me one-on-one, but it's also beneficial for my audience because then my audience can see what it's like to work with me and have a conversation with me. So that serves as a 2-in-1, gives value to the clients, it also gives value to the audience, and it helps attract clients. If I am gonna do more than 1 podcast episode a week, it's typically speaking, it'll be a client interview, like a testimonial of somebody that's been in my program, or I bring them on the podcast, or I'll be having a conversation with Cole about something that, you know, either heats us up or pisses us off or just something that's on our mind. And we just do that because we want to start doing more content together. But right now I'm doing 2 podcast episodes a week and 2 YouTube episodes a week. Now the other content strategies that end up bringing me in clients are very simple. Okay, I do 2 things on the front end of my Instagram account, and then I'll talk about the back end as well. On the front end of my Instagram account, I run follower ads as number 1. And number 2, I run direct to DM ads. So my follower ads look exactly like this. How much money do you make as a personal trainer?
30K a month, man.
30K a month, man. You said that fast.
Because I know.
You know.
Technically, it was 32.
Now I'm targeting personal trainers, so me walking up to a personal trainer in the gym, asking him how much money I make, and I put that in front of a personal trainer audience is obviously gonna attract personal trainers. So this follower ad brings me in followers at about $3 to $4 a follower. This is a really good metric for my audience because typically speaking, I was getting about $10 to $15 a follower for personal trainers specifically. So this one is currently running for about $450 a day. I've got 3 other ads that are very similar to that are also running for about $450 a day. So every day, just from my follower ads, we're generating 300 to 500 new followers a day, which is how I'm able to start so many conversations with everybody that's coming in my profile. So that's one of the things that's bringing in a bunch of traffic to my Instagram. The other thing that's bringing in a bunch of traffic to my Instagram is called direct to DM ads. I've got a direct to DM ad that's running right now that looks like this.
Excuse me, sir? Yeah. How much money do you make as a personal trainer? $30,000 a month. Excuse me? How much money do you make as a personal trainer?
About $20,000 a month.
Excuse me? How much money do you make as a personal trainer?
Most I ever did was 73 in 1 month.
Excuse me, sir? How much money do you make as a personal trainer?
25K.
25K a month or a year?
Month.
Yeah, let's go.
Now the reason that this works really well is it's a bunch of different personal trainers saying how much money they made. So obviously I put that in front of a personal trainer audience that all wants to make money, and they're gonna DM me because they're gonna wanna get results like that. I'm spending about $1,200 a day on follower ads and about $400 a day on DM ads just to get more traffic into my account. Now on the back end of Facebook business ads, I also hired an agency. Now, if you are making over $100,000 a month, hiring an agency is something I would recommend. If you're making under $100,000 a month, hiring an agency is a waste of time. You should just learn how to run your own ads. Running ads is something that I teach inside of my coaching container, inside of my coaching program. I teach my clients how to run follower ads and direct to DM ads because frankly, if you're under $100,000 a month, running a call funnel, running a lead magnet, running any of that, I think is a complete and total waste of time because you can easily scale to $100,000 a month with just follower ads and just DM ads. That being said, I'm making $1 million a month, so obviously I have an agency. I pay my agency $7,000 a month plus 8% of commission of cash that gets collected on the front end. So my agency's job is to run ads on the back end. I'm running 3 different ad campaigns right now. Ad campaign number 1 is a straight to call booking funnel. Those ads look like this. How much money do you make as a personal trainer?
$28,000.
$28,000. How much money do you make as a personal trainer?
$29K, baby.
$29K a month. How much money do you make as a personal trainer?
$67,000.
$67,000. I will help you generate at least $10,000 in revenue in your online fitness business, or you don't pay. And if it doesn't work, I'll actually pay you $1,000. Tap the button below to learn more. These ads will go to a VSL landing page. The VSL landing page will give people an opportunity to apply and book in for a call on the page. I'm also running ads directly to a masterclass. Those ads look like this. Making $2,000 a month proves that you know how to grow an online coaching business, but if you're stuck at 2K and you can't get to 5K, it's because you actually have no idea what you're doing. Posting a piece of content to sign a client is pretty easy, but to get to 5K a month, you need to have a predictable system that is constantly bringing you in leads so you're never wondering where your next client is coming from. I'm hosting a free 60-minute masterclass where I'm gonna teach you exactly how to do just that. So if you want a predictable lead funnel where you never have to run into clients, tap here to register for the free masterclass. The masterclass is for people making $5,000 a month that want to scale to $25,000 a month. Basically on the page, I give them the free value and then I give them the opportunity to book in for a call. I'm also running ads to a social selling masterclass. Those ads look like this.
Brian, I'm posting all this content, but I'm not making any money from my online fitness business.
Well, good thing I'm hosting a free masterclass called the Social Selling Summit where I'm gonna teach you exactly how to start making money from your content. I'll teach you how to create content that converts, what to say in the DMs, and how to start signing online fitness coaching clients for your business so you can get results like this. Sound good? Good. Tap here to register. This is the exact same thing. I basically give them the value in the social selling masterclass and then I give them the opportunity to book in for a call. I'm spending about $70,000 a month on those back end ads and about $40,000 a month on the front end ads. So in total, it's about $110,000 in ad spend. Our average cash collected every single month on the front end for new cash is about $400,000. So I'm spending 100 grand and I'm making back 400, which is a 4x ROAS, which I'm really happy about. And there you have it. That's my content strategy. That's exactly what I'm doing on a weekly basis in order to generate $10 million a year. Honestly, my goal this year is to double that. We're shooting for $2 million a month. Right now we're at $1 million a month. Our goal is to hit 2 million. So what am I gonna be doing to hit $2 million? Well, more of the stuff that's already working. Right now, I don't really think I can post more than 6 times a day without going click, click, bang, bang. So we're probably not gonna be doubling down on that anytime soon. However, what I am gonna be doing is I'm gonna be doubling down on the ads that are currently working. I'm gonna be doubling down on the spend that's currently working. And I'm gonna be doubling down on the team members that are producing at a high level so that they can continue to produce at a high level. I book 600 sales calls per month for my Instagram alone. I'm gonna teach you exactly what you need to do to start booking 5 to 10 sales calls per week. Now, I'd love to help you book 600 sales calls per month from Instagram, but I'm gonna be 100% transparent. I spend $100,000 a month on ads for my Instagram, and I also am posting 6 times a day, 7 days a week. I don't expect you to do any of those things, but if you're booking 5 to 10 sales calls a week, that means you're booking 20 to 40 sales calls a month, which means you're gonna be able to make $10,000 to $20,000 a month. If that sounds interesting to you, keep watching. See, the problem with most online coaches is you're just sending cold DMs to people that have never interacted with your stuff. As a result of that, people aren't reaching out, and then you say to yourself, DMs don't work. DMs work, but you have to understand how to make them work with the audience that you currently have. So step number 1, before we can send DMs, we need to work on building our audience. The reason we need to work on building our audience is because if you do cold DMs to random strangers on the internet, that's just as effective as me going door to door, knock, knock, knock to every single neighbor in my neighborhood, wondering if they want to buy my online coaching service. Obviously, if I knock on 1,000 doors, I might find one fat person that picks up the door and says like, yes, I'm interested. But the odds of that are very slim. I'm more likely to get a fitness client if I host a fitness boot camp at my house that I advertise for free to everybody in my neighborhood. I get 10 people show up. Those 10 people are obviously going to be interested, and I'm way more likely to be able to sell them a service. So step number 1 is to create an audience. Now, if you don't have an audience on social media, that's completely fine. If you're starting from scratch, that's completely fine. A lot of you guys that are listening to this right now have started posting on social media, so you do have a little bit of an advantage. The audience that you're gonna create, you're gonna post 3 types of content: connection content to help people get to know you, value content so people can actually see that you're an authority, and social proof content so people can see that you're working with other clients that are getting amazing results. Now, most online coaches struggle because they're just posting value content, AKA they go to ChatGPT like my videographer did for this video script, which by the way, I'm riffing off because the video script sucks. Most people go to ChatGPT to come up with their content ideas, and they don't actually think about what's in it for the viewer, right? As in like, how can I create valuable content that not only my viewer is going to be able to see as valuable information, but they also are going to fall in love with my personality. They're going to fall in love with my jokes. They're going to fall in love with the way that I'm delivering the content. And so value content by itself means that yes, you're giving away step-by-step information, which you can get from ChatGPT, but more importantly, you need to be adding your own personality. You need to be finding ways to deliver that value in a way that hits the algorithm and is engaging for the audience. That's my definition of value. Because I don't know about you guys, but a dictionary is supposed to be pretty valuable. Right? It has every definition of every single word that's ever been existed in the history of the planet for English. I don't read dictionaries though. You want to know why? Because they're boring, right? Most of you guys are creating your value content like a dictionary. You go to ChatGPT, you figure out some piece of content, and then you read off the script to the video camera. You're like, why am I not signing clients? That's why. Connection content. You need to show people parts of your life that are outside of fitness. Show you going for a walk. If you have a little chihuahua like I do, Mr. Fluffy Pants, we're going to post a picture right here. Show Mr. Fluffy Pants, right? Show you and your relationship. Show you and your wife doing funny shit. If you don't have a wife, then, maybe get on Hinge and find one. I don't know. Social proof content is content where you're demonstrating that you're working with clients that are already getting amazing results. These are before and after screenshots, or you can just check out some of my clients on this video right here that are getting amazing results so that your audience can see that you're working with clients that are getting results inside of your coaching program. So step number 1 is to build an audience. The reason you want to build an audience is because I don't want to send cold DMs to strangers that have no idea who the I am. I'd rather them have some sort of pre-existing relationship with me. Step number 2, give more than you ask for. This is a very simple concept, but I'm going to break it down to you. If you had a friend that every single time they called you, they were asking you for money or asking you for a favor or asking you for something, over time, would you want to continue to pick up phone calls from that friend? The answer is no. And so if somebody's following you on social media and every single day you're asking if anybody wants to work with you, asking if anybody wants your coaching program, asking if anyone wants to buy your over time, people are going to start tuning out from your social media. So you need to get into the habit of giving more than you ask for. The way that I like to do this is I only do asks twice a week, Monday and Thursday. The only exception to this rule is if your audience is growing by more than 1,000 followers a week, because these are all people that have never seen your offer before. So if you're getting 200 to 300 new followers a day, maybe you can ask a little bit more than that. But for most people, twice a week is more than enough. Speaking of connection content, this is my wife delivering me coffee. She's pregnant with her 6-month-old child. And
Delivering coffee, and we'll be delivering a baby October 6th.
delivering coffee, and she'll be delivering a child.
October 6th.
Thank you.
October 6th.
So give more than you ask for. When you're going to social media, your intention should not be, I want to sign as many clients as I can. When you're going to social media, your intention should be, how do I give these people more value so they build more of a connection to me? Because over time, as people build a connection to you, they will want to transact and do business with you. Step number 3, you need to start the conversation. Now, I only start conversations with people in my audience that are already interacting with me. Again, I'm not a door-to-door salesman. So the list in order of importance from people that you're going to start conversations with goes like this. First place you're gonna find leads is in your Instagram DMs. This should be obvious, but if you've already got prospects in your DMs that are interested in coaching, why go out and seek more prospects when you've already got people that are there? The second place you wanna go is your Instagram story poll responders. Now you do wanna be posting CTAs on Monday and Thursday like I suggested. Second place you should be looking for is anybody that's been voting on your polls on your Instagram stories to see if they'd be interested in coaching. The third place you're gonna go is Instagram commenters on your photos. The reason that these people are warm leads is because they took the time out of their day to interact with their social media when they could have just scrolled. So obviously there's some sort of intent there. Maybe it's not intent to purchase, but it's at least intent to build a relationship with you. Or hate on you if their name is StrangerPantsBob665544. Fourth place you wanna go to find leads is on your likes on your Instagram posts and reels. People that are taking the time to interact with your profile on social media, again, they're not leaving a comment, but they could have just scrolled, and the fact that they liked your content means that they have some sort of interest in having a relationship with you. The fifth place you wanna go is new followers. People that are coming into your social media page, brand new, they've never interacted with your offer before, you just wanna shoot them a message and say thanks for the follow. And the last place you wanna go is your Instagram story viewers. Now again, people that are viewing your story are obviously interested in you, otherwise they wouldn't be watching your story, but their level of intent to purchase is gonna be extremely low. Now the message that you're gonna send out to all these people is, hey Nick, thanks so much for supporting my content. Are you on a fitness journey or are you just enjoying the content? Notice how it's not sleazy, not salesy, not slimy. I'm asking them a this or that question so that when they respond, if they're on a fitness journey, then I can continue on and ask them questions about their fitness journey. If they're just enjoying the content, I can say thanks so much for the support and I hope you love my page. End of conversation. Step number 4, you're gonna use this DM script. Mind if I ask a couple of questions, see if I can help? What's your number one struggle on your fitness journey? What's your number one goal for your fitness journey? In the next 60 to 90 days, what are the top 2 to 3 results you're looking for? And would you like some help? This is the magic DM script that's gonna book you 5 to 10 sales calls a week. Now, most people f this up because they just ask questions like this and they just go through the script like a robot and they're not even interacting or engaging with anything that the prospect is saying. So in the next step, I'm gonna teach you how to use this script so that you don't sound like a robot, so that you don't sound like a dork, so you actually get more sales calls booked. Step number 5, I want you to use a concept called mirroring. Now, mirroring is something that we do unconsciously when we're in a social interaction with somebody else. You'll notice this when you see 2 best friends hanging out. When you see 2 best friends hanging out, you notice that their gestures are very similar, their speech patterns are very similar. You'll also notice this with a husband and wife that have been together for a long period of time. They have similar mannerisms, they have similar ways of communication. It's because we end up mirroring each other as human beings. And this started out when you were a baby. You couldn't speak English, and then you see your parents speaking English, and they see they're moving their mouths like this, and then you start moving your mouth like this, and all of a sudden now you can speak English, okay? So mirroring is a concept we've been doing since we were babies. So the way that you can use this in your DMs is very simple. Let's say you ask the question, hey Nick, what's your number one struggle in your fitness journey? And Nick says, I'm a vegan and all I do is eat vegetables. I'm like, okay, totally makes sense that all you do is eat vegetables. And then I'm gonna ask the next question. So I'm just gonna mirror back what he said in the message to him. I'm gonna pick out a part of the message that he said. I'm gonna mirror it back to him in the message to show him that I'm actually paying attention, and then I'm gonna continue on with the script. That's called mirroring, okay? So use this in your DM so that you're not going through the script sounding like a robot and the prospect can actually tell that you're paying attention. Step number 6, validate, relate, lean in. This concept is specifically used when the prospect opens up and shares something personal, okay? So let's say you're in the DMs with a prospect and you're like, hey Nick, what's your number one struggle in your fitness journey? And they say, well, I've been struggling for the last 6 years because, I lost my mom 6 years ago. And since that time, it's been really difficult for me. And, I've been really trying to get myself back on track, which is why I followed your page. If you just ask the next question in the script, you're gonna look like a total D, okay? I'm not even gonna say the word on YouTube because I think it's banned. But you're gonna look like a total D. So what you wanna do is you wanna use a concept I call validate, relate, and lean in. Validate. Nick, thank you so much for sharing that with me, brother. That must have been super difficult. Relate. I've been through some personal struggles myself, and so I can understand what that feels like to go through a really difficult time like that. So thank you again for sharing. Lean in. What would you say is your number one goal now that you're trying to get back into your fitness journey? So validate what they're saying, relate to what they're saying, and lean in and ask the next question. Now, again, you might not have lost a parent, so you can't just be like, I lost a parent too, if you didn't, because then you're lying. But relating basically says that you relate to their struggle, right? or you relate to what they're going through, or you relate to something they've been through. Using this concept in the DMs is gonna make it so that your DMs feel like magic. Your prospects are gonna feel very connected to you because they're gonna feel like you're actually paying attention to what they're saying and that you can relate to what they're saying, and human beings love connection. Step number 7, you're gonna use Calendly to book your sales calls. Calendly is a free app that you can download immediately. Just sign up, put your email in, and you're gonna be able to create custom events. With your Calendly event, you wanna make sure that you're calling it a 30-minute strategy session. Do not call it a sales call. That would be very stupid of you, okay? If you call it a sales call, obviously you're gonna send that link and it says 30-minute sales call. You know, do you really think people are gonna wanna jump on that knowing that it's a 30-minute sales call? Fun fact, people are gonna know it's a sales call because they're not stupid, because you're a fitness coach. But just like, you know, if I was in a bar and I walked up to a girl and I'm like, hey, you're really cute, can I grab your number? I wouldn't be like, hey, you're really cute, you wanna like go home together right now? Like, she might know what I'm up to, but that doesn't mean I need to reveal all my cards. You get what I'm saying? I have a wife, by the way, so I wouldn't do that. But I'm just telling you, okay? For some of you guys out there that are watching this, or if you're a girl and you've had a guy come up to you and say that, you don't reveal all your cards. Anyways, I digress. You wanna call it a 30-minute strategy session. With your 30-minute strategy session, you wanna make sure you set up text and email reminders. Set up text and email reminders for 24 hours out, text and email reminders for 1 hour out. That way the prospect is significantly more likely to show up for that call. Step number 8, because I'm feeling generous, you're gonna add a pre-call video. A pre-call video essentially is gonna make sure that the prospect actually shows up for the call. So in the morning, you're gonna look at your calendar and you're gonna see who's on the calendar. Then you're gonna send them all a video that says exactly this word for word. Hey Nick, what's going on? Hope you're having the best day of your entire life. Just check the calendar, saw we're booked in for a quick 15-minute call. I'm super excited. On the call, we're gonna cover 3 things. Number 1, your biggest struggle on your fitness journey. Number 2, your biggest goal. Number 3, I'm gonna help you come up with a game plan to achieve your goals. Bring a pen and paper, it's gonna be awesome. We'll chat with you soon. Bro, I don't know how much sauce I can give you for free without you actually taking action. Okay, I literally just gave you the blueprint to book 5 to 10 sales calls a week. If you don't take action and do this stuff, like, I don't even know. Like, are you allergic to money? I don't understand.
AI is gonna steal my coaching business. Oh my God, with technology coming out, there's not gonna be a need for online coaches.
Bro, shut up. Are you serious? Every single year, there's something that gives people an excuse not to work on their coaching business. Last year was Trump. Year before that, it was the pandemic. I don't even want to say the word. Year before that, it was Black Lives Matter. Year before that, it was George Clooney. You guys, every single year, you make an excuse not to work on your online coaching. Well, I don't know. The market seems pretty sus right now. Do you see what's happening with Bitcoin? Do you see what's happening with J.D. Trump? Do you see what's happening with George Clooney? What are we talking about? Are you serious? You're gonna use AI as an excuse not to grow your coaching business? You're absolutely insane. I'll tell you this, okay? First things first, AI is not going to steal your coaching business. It's just not gonna happen. What is gonna steal your coaching business is the fact that you're too lazy to do posting on social media. That's besides the point, right? Now, AI by itself is a tool that you can use to make your coaching business more efficient, but AI by itself is not gonna replace humans. I'm gonna teach you about the number 1 thing that you need to focus on in order to make sure that you don't get your business stolen by AI, by a recession, by George Clooney, or by any other movement that comes out once a year for everybody else to follow along like sheep. Step number 1, build a personal brand. The reason that I post 6 times a day, 7 days a week on social media is because my personal brand is bulletproof. It doesn't matter what happens in the outside world. I know for a fact that I can go to my Instagram audience and I can make a post about an offer and I can make money. Because I built a personal brand, a strong personal brand, it does not matter what happens in the economy. It does not matter what happens in the world. I will always have an audience of people that know me, like me, and trust me. That's also why I post 2 YouTube videos a week for you guys. That's also why I post 3 to 5 podcast episodes a week for you guys. And because I understand that my personal brand is the number 1 thing that's gonna carry me through any recession or anything that happens with AI, because people recognize me, my face, and my brand. So if you're not building a personal brand right now, I don't know what to tell you. My definition of a personal brand is you're actually talking on camera. If you're one of those dorks that post 6-second videos, like trending videos with like no words and just somebody else's content, or just you're hiding behind your face or whatever the doing that isn't talking to the camera, I don't know what to tell you, okay? Because all you got to do is pick up a podcast mic like this. Hey, look at this podcast mic. It's $200, okay? Or a microphone that's glued to the podcast mic, a DJI. Pick it up and talk to it like this. Once a day, every day, 7 days a week. You do that, doesn't matter what happens in the outside world, I promise you your business isn't gonna grow.
But Brian, I don't have time to post
Content 7 times a week. Yeah, I know, you're right, because you're busy working 9 to 5 for somebody else, building somebody else's dream. It takes you 10 minutes a day to post on social media, to take out your camera and actually talk to it. But you don't have the courage to do it because you're afraid of going all in on something that you actually care about, and you'd rather work 9 to 5 for a paycheck for somebody else for the rest of your life. I don't know what to tell you, okay? Number 1, build a personal brand. Number 2, identify how much money you need to live. live. I call this your base monthly expenses. Okay, so car, rent, gas, whatever other base monthly expenses that you have, and figure out what that number is. For me, when I first got started, that number was $4,000. That's what all my monthly expenses were. And so I knew with my online coaching business, I needed to be generating at least $4,000 worth of revenue in order to live a life. So that's what I focused on. That became my target and that became my goal. So once you identify what your base monthly expenses are, you can set that as a goal for your online coaching business, and then you can just spend every single hour working towards that goal, knowing that once you hit that goal, you'll be able to sustain yourself full time. Number 3, stop investing in all these new things like Bitcoin, stocks, Tesla, AI, and all that, and invest in yourself. You wanna know why? Because you are the number 1 income generator in your entire life. The money that you spend investing in yourself, investing in your knowledge, investing in your skills, investing in becoming a better content creator, investing in becoming a better salesperson, investing in becoming a better coach, is going to pay you in dividends that none of these other returns will ever be able to pay you. Period. If you develop skills, your skills will make you more money. It's very basic. But so many of you guys are focused on the tangible things that you can see, touch, and taste. Like, okay, I can see that if I invest in Bitcoin, the chances of me doubling my money in the next year are like, 50%. And so I'm just gonna take the money that I have, invest in Bitcoin, and then you don't have any life skills. So then you go out into the world and you try to do something meaningful with your life, that where you have purpose and you are contributing and you have value, but because you don't have any skills, because you're investing your money in Bitcoin, stocks, real estate, Tesla, AI, or all this other stuff, you as a person are not valuable. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. I had to come to that realization myself. And so once you identify what your base monthly expenses are and you start making more money in that, all of that extra capital should be deployed in investing in you and making you a more valuable resource. For the first 5 years that I ran my online coaching business, I didn't take a payout. I was investing every extra dollar that I could back into my business for the first 5 years. I want you to think about that for a second. That includes 2 years of PT Domination, my coaching business right now that generates over $10 million a year. We've generated over $35 million in sales. Look at the Stripe account. I didn't take a payout for the first 2 years of that business. I invested $50,000 in this mentor, $100,000 in this mentor, $100,000 in this mentor, because I knew that the money that I was keeping in the account to reinvest back into the business was gonna pay me in dividends that I couldn't even try to get anywhere else. So like, yeah, you guys see me driving the Lamborghini now, you guys see me in the fancy house, you see me at the mansion. What you don't see is I didn't take a payout for 2 years. I invested every extra dollar I had in myself. And because of that, I became a more valuable person that had more to contribute to society, so I started making more money. Number 4, learn how to use AI. You need to learn it, all right? Like, AI isn't gonna steal your coaching business, but it sure as hell is gonna make you more efficient. So like, figure out how you can use AI to be a cheat code. I was joking with Nick because he used ChatGPT to write this YouTube script, but then I thought it was funny. It's true, it gave me a baseline, and now I'm just riffing off the top of my head and sharing with you guys the information that's in my mind. But we used ChatGPT as a baseline to come up with a script, and then we delivered it to you guys in a way that's actually, valuable and true for me. I use AI as an advantage. I'm not afraid that AI is gonna take my job because AI can't be Brian Mark. AI can't have this sexy ass personality with this good looking beard, okay? It can try, it can make a clone of me, but it's not gonna replace me. But I'm gonna utilize AI to my advantage, and I'm gonna understand that there's other people in the space that are using AI, and if I don't start learning how to use it myself, I'm going to get left behind. I'm gonna be like my grandpa who only has a home phone, doesn't have a smartphone, and sure as doesn't know what an iPhone is, okay? I don't wanna be that guy. So I'm gonna use AI to my advantage, not get replaced by AI. Number 5, understand this concept. If you're not growing, you're dying. That sounds like a very intense statement. I'm gonna explain what that basically means. If I plant a flower in my garden and I water it every single day, it's gonna grow. If I stop watering that flower, does it just stop growing and stay the exact same place that it was, or does it die? The flower dies. That's how nature works. And that's how your personal development works as well. So if you want to build a coaching business that generates $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 a month, if you build it to a certain level, then all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm gonna stop watering my flower now. I'm gonna start posting on social media now. I don't wanna take any more sales calls now. I wanna take a break now. Your business isn't just gonna stay in the exact same place. It's gonna die. It's gonna slowly but surely, clients are gonna leave you. You're not gonna be signing new clients, so your business is gonna get smaller and smaller. So if you're gonna play this game and you actually wanna build a coaching business that generates revenue for a long period of time, then you need to be so consistent that people cannot ignore you. Just be so consistent that you break through the noise. Be so persistent that people cannot help but notice your. And when you get that consistent and that good over a long enough period of time, it doesn't matter what happens in the outside world, because eventually you will get noticed. I'm gonna break down my sales process and how my business has generated $35 million. I'm gonna give you guys the entire process, start to finish, and by the time you're done watching this video, you will be able to close an open-faced sandwich. This series is also based off of my brand new book, The $10 Million Instagram Funnel. So if you want to grab a copy, stay tuned because they're not released yet, but they're gonna be coming soon. And by the time you're watching this video, they might already be out. If they are, you can check out the description. If not, though, check them out on Amazon when it comes out, okay? Now, sales is a very simple game, all right? And I wanna give you guys some frameworks to think about when you're coming into your sales calls. First things first, just because somebody's in the calendar does not mean they're ready to buy your shit. That is a hard reality, where I think a lot of salespeople come into the call and they just expect that the person on the other end is just gonna buy something because they booked the consult. That is not the game. All right, in sales, it's very simple. If you do not convince the prospect of the value of your program on that call, they are going to leave the call with your money. But if you can convince the prospect of the value of the service that you're offering, they will transact with you the dollar amount that they deem that your product or service is worth. So the game of sales is being able to present whatever it is that you are selling in a way that is valuable enough for the customer to say, yes, I would like to make a purchase and I would like to do it today. I've got a 12-step process that I'm gonna walk you through on how to sell anything to anybody. Number 1, pre-frame. Number 2, why now, why me? Number 3, pain points. Number 4, vision. Number 5, the gap. Number 6, give advice. Number 7, test commitment levels. Number 8, pitch to their problems. Number 9, get them to sell back to you. Number 10, drop the price. Number 11, overcome objections. And number 12, secure the payment and collect the cash. So let's get into every single aspect of the call. The first thing you always want to do on your calls is you always want to pre-frame. The way that I like to pre-frame is I like to start the call by doing about 30 seconds of rapport building. Hey Nick, what's going on? Yeah, how's your day going, brother? Good, good. Yeah, me too. I'm in Kelowna, BC. Weather is amazing out here. Where are you based out of? That's it, okay? So you just get into the call, you ask them a couple questions, maybe about their day, what the weather's like, and then we're gonna get straight into it. The reason you only wanna spend about 30 seconds building rapport is that most of you dorks get on your sales calls and you're like, how's the weather? What's your dog's name? Do you have a little sister? What's her name too? Stop. And then you're gonna do what I call a time constraint, all right? Now the reason you wanna add a time constraint to the start of your calls is you're sub-communicating to the prospect that your time is more valuable than theirs. I want you to remember this rule, all right? The person that is the most conscious of time is the person that has higher status. Imagine if you walked up to Gary Vaynerchuk on the street and you're like, Gary Vaynerchuk, can I take 30 minutes of your time to ask you a few questions about your business? He's probably gonna say no. You wanna know why? Because Gary Vaynerchuk is busy and he's conscious of time. So the person that is the most conscious of time in a social interaction is the person that is higher status. So to start our calls, all right, Nick, so I got back-to-back meetings booked all day. Are you cool if we just jump straight in? When you say this, you sub-communicate that you are a busy person, which automatically increases your authority in the first 30 seconds of the call. Next, we need to do what I call the pre-frame. Once you do a time constraint, the next thing you're gonna do on the call is you're gonna let the prospect know what the call is gonna be about. This is super important when it comes to sales calls because you need to set the container for the call. If you do not pre-frame properly, your prospect will view you as a friend and not a coach. And so in the pre-frame, we're gonna describe to them what the call is gonna be about without actually giving specific details of what we're gonna sell. Here's what that looks like. All right, Nick, so what we're gonna do on today's call is I'm just gonna ask you a few questions, get some clarity on what you're currently struggling with and what your goals are. And then I'm gonna help you come up with a game plan. And at the end of the call, if I feel like I can help you out, I'll invite you to work with me. If not, I'll point you in a different direction. Does that sound good? As soon as they say sounds good, they've agreed to your frame. Now I want you to notice a couple things here. First things first is I let them know that I'm gonna be asking them a few questions, which opens up the container for me to be the interviewer. That's the first thing. The second thing that I did, and I think this is really important, is you let them know that you're gonna pitch them by saying, if I feel like I can help you out, I'll invite you to work with me. You also let them know that you might not pitch them, which removes the resistance. So like when I'm telling them I'm gonna pitch them, that's gonna add sales resistance. But then when I tell them I might not pitch them, that's gonna remove the resistance. So I'm communicating what I'm doing on the call without adding sales resistance, and that's extremely important. So the next part of the script is called why now, why me? Two things you need to clarify with the prospect. Why is it important that they take action right now and not later to solve the problem? And number 2, why did they choose you as their coach? Now again, they might not have chosen you as their coach yet, but this is all about sub-communicating to your prospects what we want them to feel and how we want them to perceive us. So the question goes, all right, Nick, so yeah, I just wanna, I wanna know a little bit more about you. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Like what's your story and what brought you to this call today? Then they're gonna talk about their story and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, that makes sense. And like for you, what made this like a right now thing for you to hop on this call? Like why do you wanna solve this problem now? So right away, I'm gonna get a why now. And then the next part, and this is really important because sometimes when you're booking your sales calls, it's gonna be an outbound call where you actually book the call. And sometimes when you're booking your sales calls, it's gonna be an inbound call where they actually applied for your coaching program. So sometimes we outbound DM and then they book a call, and sometimes they inbound us. Regardless, this is what you're gonna say. I'm just curious, Nick, like there's obviously a lot of other service providers that you could have hopped on a call with. What made you decide to hop on a call with us today? They might say, well, you sent me a message. Which is true in some instances. I did send you a message, Mr. Prospect. That's really smart of you. But I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say, yeah, I totally get that. But you showed up for today's call and you could have blocked me, you could have ignored me, you could have ghosted me. Like what inspired you to show up today? So regardless of what they say, I'm still gonna get them to commit to the fact that they showed up to the call for a reason and that they could have ghosted the call, but they chose to show up. So now I'm getting them to start justifying reasons why they're on this call with me today, AKA I'm getting them to sell themselves before the call's even started. So after why now, why me, we're gonna move into the pain points. In this part of the script, you need to get the prospect very clear on what it is that they're struggling with, how long they've been struggling with that problem, and how painful that problem is. The reason this is super important is this is one of the 3 main elements that we need in order to sell our service, all right? So pain points is number 1. It's one of the most important. And so here's what we're gonna ask in order to get clear on their pain points. So Nick, tell me a little bit more about, what's been your biggest struggle in regards to like getting this thing off the ground? Now this prospect is gonna open up and they're gonna share with you some of the things that they're struggling with. Sometimes the prospect is gonna give you a very vague answers. In this part, you need to ask expansive questions if they give you a vague answer. If not, just shut up and listen, all right? What you're gonna be doing is as the prospect is talking, you wanna be writing down notes. So like if they say that they've been struggling for the last 3 years, you're gonna write down struggling for the last 3 years. If they say the reason they haven't been able to get started is because their wife doesn't believe them, wife doesn't believe in them, whatever it is that they're saying, you're gonna be writing down notes because we're gonna use this as ammunition later on in the call when we're summarizing their pain points. That makes sense, Nick. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Like, what do you mean by that? Ask expansive questions to get them to open up about what they're struggling with. And Nick, how long has this been an issue for you? Like, how long have you been struggling with this specific struggle that you just mentioned? 3 years. Damn, watch this tonality. 3 years. Damn, that's a long time, bro. That is a long time. Wow, okay. How's that been impacting you? Obviously, it sounds to me like this is a really important problem for you to solve. Like 3 years, like how's that been impacting you with this, problem that you haven't solved for the last 3 years? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And just to be super clear, like you've been struggling with it for 3 years and it's been impacting you in this way. Is this something that you're looking to make a change on today? Like this is something that you want to basically permanently remove this problem, or are you comfortable with the way that things are at right now? So that's the last question. Is this something that you're looking to change right now, or is this, something that you're basically comfortable with how things are? So now once we're done the pain point parts, then we're gonna summarize, all right? Now, we always wanna summarize when we get to the end of a section because if we don't summarize, then we just sound like a robot reading through the script. This part of sales is probably the most important, so pay attention. When your prospect is saying things to you, you need to be paying attention and writing down notes so you can repeat it back to them. If you do not do this, you will not sell anything to anybody. You will sound like a robot reading a script. Okay, Nick, so I just want to make sure I understand your situation correctly here. So you mentioned to me that your biggest struggle in your fitness journey has been the fact that you haven't been able to figure out what your nutrition plan should be. You've been struggling to lose 20 pounds for the last 3 years, which is a very long time. It's been impacting you because you feel like you don't have the confidence to do some of the things that you want to do. You feel like your dating life has suffered. Am I understanding everything correctly, or is there anything that I'm missing? Asking that question and throwing the mirror up so that they can see it is gonna cause them to kind of feel that pain that we need in order to make the sale. Why do we buy Tylenol? I don't go out and buy Tylenol if I don't have a headache, right? The reason that I go to purchase Tylenol is because I have a headache and I wanna get rid of it. And so in sales, they're not gonna purchase your product unless your product is a solution to the pain that they are experiencing. That's the only way. They're gonna hand over their hard-earned dollars and pay you money for your service. And so we need to get them extremely clear on the pain of what they're experiencing if we want them to take action. Now, pain is one of the 3 things that we need to sell, but it's only one of the 3 things. You might be thinking, Brian, you're so smart and handsome. What are the other 3 things? Well, let me explain. Next, we need to get them clear on their goals, all right? So we got the pain points over here, their goals over here. We need to get them clear on their main motivations for wanting to take action. Now, full transparency, when you get on a call with a prospect that has been struggling for XYZ amount of time, oftentimes this prospect has not thought about how good it would feel to have that problem solved because most people are problem aware. They're not solution aware. Because if they were solution aware and they realized that they could have a 6-pack, they could have the body that they want, they could have all the goals that they could ever want, if they just worked hard, they would just work hard. But most people don't think about the goals that they have or the things that they like to achieve. They just think about the problems that they're experiencing. So what we need to do on our calls is we need to help them paint the vision of what the problem completely removed would look like. All right, Nick, so first things first, thanks for sharing all your struggles with me. I really appreciate it. And my goal is to help you get super clear on where you'd like to go and the destination you'd like to reach. So enough of the struggles. Let's talk about your goals, Nick. So you mentioned to me that you want to lose 20 pounds, right? Is that the number one goal that you have right now? Is to that 20-pound weight loss to be able to kind of see your abs for the first time? Or is there anything else that you'd like to achieve? Okay, perfect. Losing that 20 pounds, Nick, I really want you to imagine how you would feel if you lost 20 pounds. You're walking around lighter, you're feeling better. Why is that important to you to lose that weight and to feel the best you've ever felt? Yeah, I get it. Yeah, for the kids, understood. Yep. So I'm writing notes, right? Okay, wants to lose weight so he can be a better dad for his kids, wants to feel confident in his own skin, wants to have a better dating life. Okay, first things first, like Nick, I 100% believe that you can achieve that goal. I've helped dozens of clients lose 20 pounds or more, so like you losing weight is literally a non-issue whatsoever. Like we're gonna be able to help you achieve that goal. How would that feel? You know, you've been struggling for 3 years, Nick. And so how would it feel if we were actually able to help you lose that 20 pounds? You like looked at yourself in the mirror and you were like, wow, I did it. Like describe to me what that would feel like. What do you think would change in your life if we were able to make that happen? Yeah, more confidence. Yeah. More confidence. Better dating life. Better dad for my kids. I'd be able to see my PP. Okay? Okay, Nick, so like I want to be the guy that actually helps you, change your life today. So why is it important that you make this change right now? Right? Because you mentioned to me that you've been struggling for 3 years, that you don't know what to eat, you don't know how to train. And we're on this call and you're telling me that you want to look the best you've ever looked, feel the best you've ever felt, be a better dad for your kids. Why is this a right now thing for you? Why don't you just put this off for another 6 months? Like, why is this a right now thing for you? Pause. Notice how I'm re-cementing why now. You need to cement why now on these calls. Because if you can get them to create their own internal sense of urgency by asking the right questions, they're gonna feel internally motivated to take action for their own reasons. If I were to say, hey Nick, you've been overweight for 3 years, you should probably solve this problem. Sales resistance, because I'm pushing my beliefs onto them. But if I were to ask the question, Nick, so you've been struggling with this for the last 3 years, and I'm just curious, like what makes this a right now thing for you? Like why is this important that you make this change now and not put this off till later? Because I'm asking them the questions, now they will internally come up with the reasons that they need to take action right now and not later. We accomplish the same goal, except I'm not telling them what to do, I'm asking them the right questions, which is making them aware of what they need to do. Does that make sense? So again, once you're done this section, you're gonna do a quick recap. Okay, Nick, so if I understand you correctly, the biggest goal that you wanna have is you wanna be able to lose 20 pounds, you wanna be a better dad for your kids, you wanna have more energy so you can run around, you wanna improve your dating life, and I did write down in my little notes here that you also wanna be able to see your PB better. Is that correct? Yeah, okay, that's awesome. 100% achievable. I believe in you. I've helped a bunch of clients do that, so I'm 100% confident we can make that happen. Now we've got two of the most important elements when it comes to making a sale. We've got the pain. We've got the vision. And what does that create? That's a great question. You're probably thinking, what does that create? And why is he asking me that question? Because that creates the third most important thing that we need to make a sale. Number 3, the gap. The distance between where they are right now and where they want to be. The gap. We need to make them aware of the distance between where they are right now and where they want to be. That's the gap. We also need to do a great job at widening the gap between where they are right now and where they want to be. That's what this next section is for. So let's get into it. So Nick, now that I know what you want, you want to lose 20 pounds, have a six-pack, be the best dad you've ever been, and you've been struggling for the last 3 years, why do you feel like you haven't been able to achieve these goals on your own? I'm gonna widen the gap. Why do you feel like you haven't been able to achieve these goals on your own? I'm widening the gap between where they are right now and where they want to be. This is the magic question right here. Check this out. All right, Nick, and listen, I don't want to be that guy, but my job as a coach is to basically hold you accountable and help you see, the consequences of not taking action. So let's just play devil's advocate for a second. Let's pretend you get off this call and you're like, you know what, B, I'm good. I don't need a fitness program. I'm just gonna stick to my own stuff. I don't need your help, whatever. And let's just say you don't take any action. Your life stays in the same place for the next 6 months, a year, 2 years, and your situation stays the same or potentially gets worse. You might even gain weight. How would that make you feel? Most often, when you ask this question, prospects are gonna reply with, no way. There's no way. There's no way I'll make that happen. Sometimes I'll go a little bit deeper. Well, Mr. Prospect, you'd be surprised, all right? I hear that a lot. There's no way I'd make that happen. And then the clients get back on the call with me 6 months later and they're like, okay, I made that happen. And so I want you to sit and think with that for a second. And let's just say that nothing changed and it stayed in the same place for the next 6 months because it's already been 3 years. How would that make you feel? I wouldn't want that. Now, we've got the pain, we've got the goals, we've widened the gap, we've made them aware of what happens if they don't take action. Now it's time to give them some value and show them how we can help them. Because people are not gonna purchase your product, they're going to purchase the solution that gets them from where they are right now in pain to where they wanna be. This is where I'll actually back up a little bit, all right? This part of the sales process is something that's unique to B-Mark, all right? I don't see a lot of salespeople doing this. The next part is where we actually give advice. All right, Nick, so listen, based on everything you've told me so far, do you mind if I coach you for a minute? Do you mind if I give you some advice and kind of tell you what I can see in your fitness journey? Okay, the reason that you wanna say, mind if I coach you here for a minute, is because you need to set the frame that you're about to give them some advice. People don't like being told what to do, right? So if you set the frame before you give them advice by saying, do you mind if I coach you for a minute? Now you are creating the container where you're actually able to say the that you need to say. You don't want to hold back on the value that you give here, because the value that you give here is going to show the prospect that you know what the you're talking about. And then after you give the value, you're going to present your offer as a solution to solve the problems that you're describing. So Nick, based on everything you told me so far, I definitely can see, where we can help you out. Do you mind if I coach you for a minute? Okay, perfect. So, bro, 3 years is a long time, all right? In 3 years' time, not only could you lose 20 pounds, but you could lose 20 pounds, keep it all off, and gain 15 pounds of lean muscle mass. So the way that you've been doing things absolutely needs to change if you're serious about being a better dad for your kids. First things first is we need to get you on a workout program where you're doing 3 to 5 days a week. 3 days a week if you don't have a lot of time, 5 days a week if you have more time to commit. Second thing, with your nutrition, you told me that you go out and you eat fast food 5 times a week. Bro, not only are you blowing $100 to $150 a week on fast food, that is also the very reason that you're not able to lose fat. Bro, you could eat 3 healthy meals a day and then you could ruin it with 1 fast food meal per day. That could be your calorie deficit that you're ruining it with. So we need to stop doing that. We need to get you on a structured plan where you're still able to eat the foods you love without it feeling like a diet. Does that make sense? Okay, perfect. Do you have any questions about anything I just went over? So I'm gonna give them a bunch of advice. Do you have any questions about anything I just went over? Now, we've demonstrated that we know what we're talking about. We've given them some tangible value, something they could take away from the call, even if they don't take action. And now we're gonna get into, we're gonna move towards presenting our offer. But before you test the offer, you need to test their commitment levels, all right? Because if you don't test their commitment levels here, what's gonna happen is at the end of the call, you're gonna get to the call and they're gonna say like, I need to think about it. So what we need to do is we need to identify where they are right now. Are they sold? Are they not sold? All right, Nick, so listen, my coaching program comes with guaranteed results. And because of that, I only take on a certain amount of people every single month. And the reason that I do that is because, if I take you on and you don't get the result that you were promised, then I feel like a bad coach and that ruins my reputation. So I gotta ask, Nick, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, I don't really care about this goal at all, and 10 being, this is the most important goal for me in my life right now, where are you kind of sitting on that scale? Now, if they give you a 9 or a 10, that's awesome. Pat them on the back, kudos, you get a cookie, here you go, good job, pat. If they give you anything between an 8 and a 10, that is something that we can work with, and that's something you wanna give them credit for. 8, you know what, Nick, I can work with that. I can work with that. I understand that there may be some hesitations, but 8 out of 10 is pretty committed to achieving your goals, and I think me and you can work together and we can make some magic happen. So 8 out of 10 is good. Anything less than an 8, that's where we need to challenge it. 7, Nick, that is absolutely shocking compared, based on the fact that we just had this call. You just told me that you've been struggling for the last 3 years. What makes it a 7? They're likely gonna give you some sort of objection like, well, it's just a 7 because of my finances and, and then you're gonna circle around because we need to get a micro commitment, all right? So this is how we're gonna circle around that. We're gonna get a micro commitment because we need to get them to say yes to us. So Nick, I completely understand where you're coming from in terms of the budget, but I wasn't asking about your budget. I was asking about your level of commitment to losing this weight and getting in the best shape of your life. And so what I'm asking is like, if I were to give you a meal plan and training plan that was designed to help you hit your fitness goals, are you gonna give it a 7 out of 10 effort to achieve the goal that you said you wanted, like losing 20 pounds and being a better dad, or are you actually gonna give it a 10 out of 10 effort? Now, obviously, when you ask the question like this, the prospect is gonna feel stupid if they say a 7 out of 10 effort, so they're gonna say 10 out of 10 effort. And then I'm gonna circle back to the original question I asked. I'm gonna be like, okay, perfect, so are you a 7 out of 10 or are you a 10 out of 10? And then they're gonna say I'm a 10 out of 10. So now that I've identified, I got them to commit to the 10 out of 10, the next part is we're gonna transition into the pitch. So here's what that looks like. Nick, it sounds to me like you're pretty committed to this. So at the start of the call, I mentioned whether or not I'd be able to help. The good news is I definitely think I can help you out. Would you mind if I told you a little bit more about our coaching program and how it works? Now, they've given us permission to pitch. We've also basically gone through the qualification process. They are now qualified. Now we're gonna present the offer. You notice how 80% of the fucking call is about them. 20% is about our program. This is a big mistake a lot of salespeople make. 80% of the call was about them. 20% was about our offer. Stop talking about yourself. Spend the entire call figuring out your prospects' pains, their goals, their struggles, how long they've been struggling with it, why it's important to them, what happens if they don't change, all of that, and then present your offer. So here's how you're gonna present your offer, all right? What you're gonna do is you wanna get them to see it in a visual. Now, you might have 3 different elements of your offer, you might have 4 different elements of your offer. For the sake of mine, I have 3. And so I'm gonna get them to draw a visual so that I can clearly explain the elements of my offer. And the reason I'm gonna get them to draw a visual is it gives them something tangible to grip onto. So I'm gonna say this. All right, Nick, do you have a pen and paper with you? Great. Do me a favor. What I want you to do is I want you to open the notebook and I want you to draw a big triangle in the middle of the piece of paper. Let me know when you have that. Perfect. At the top of the triangle, I want you to write down the word flexible dieting. Nick, you said you want to lose 20 pounds, so my job is to create you a meal plan that helps you do that. I'm going to create you a meal plan that allows you to still eat the foods that you love, and every single week, my goal is that you're losing 1 to 2 pounds so that we hit that 20-pound weight loss goal. Does that sound good? Notice how I didn't talk about the features of my program. When I'm presenting my program, I'm presenting it in a way that's going to benefit them and their goals. So I'm explaining to them how the program is going to benefit them and their goals so that they can tangibly see in their mind how this thing is going to help them solve their problem. Perfect. On the bottom right of the triangle, Nick, I want you to write down the word training. The training program I'm going to be designing for you is updated every 4 weeks, and the entire plan's purpose is to help you lose that 20 pounds. So I'm going to make sure that the workouts that I designed for you are weight loss specific workouts. We're going to be focusing on building lean muscle tissue so you can burn body fat, and by the time the program's done, my goal is that you're down 20 pounds. Does that sound good? Again, I'm explaining the program in a way that's going to benefit them and their goals. Perfect. Bottom left of the triangle, I want you to write down the word accountability. Every single week, I'm going to be checking in with you, Nick, all right? And my goal of those check-ins is very simple. You either make progress or we make adjustments to the program. Every week, you're gonna tell me what you're eating, how you're training, how you're feeling, etc. And then based on how you're feeling and how your training's going, I'm gonna make adjustments to your plan so that we can lose 20 pounds together. Does that sound good? Perfect. So now that I've explained the program in a way that benefits them, I'm gonna get them to sell it back to me. All right, next, so what part of the program do you feel like would be the most beneficial for you? The nutrition? Awesome. And why do you feel like the nutrition and the flexible dieting lifestyle would benefit you so much? I'm gonna get them to sell it back to me. I want them to tell me why they wanna buy my stuff. All right, so we got him. Right where we want it. It's time to drop the price. When I'm price presenting, I always like to present to a higher dollar amount. That is what I like to do because I find that presenting to a higher dollar amount, whether it's real or imaginary, will give you the ability to do a price drop. It's kind of like when you walk into Walmart and they have like $19.99 and it's slashed out and it says $9.99. You're like, oh my God, I'm getting such a deal. It's a price comparison game. So if you can do that on your sales calls, you will get more people to say yes to you because they're anchored to a higher dollar amount. All right, Nick, so again, everything I just mentioned, you know, the training, the nutrition, the accountability, etc. If you were to hire an in-person trainer for 16 weeks, it would cost you about $5,000 and it wouldn't come with a nutrition plan. My training, nutrition, and accountability program for 16 weeks is only $1,500. How does that sound? Now, once we explain what the program is, once we drop the price, shut up. And this applies to any level, by the way. We're talking about selling a fitness program here, but this is how I sell business coaching as well. It doesn't matter if you're selling a $7,000 ticket, you know, I sell a $30,000 ticket. You drop the price and then you shut up and you let them process it. Because if you don't let them process the price and you start talking right after you drop the price, you interrupt their train of thought. And when you interrupt their train of thought, the first thing they're gonna say to you is, I gotta think about it. Because you didn't give them space to think. And so after you drop the price, there's gonna be a silence. It's gonna be awkward. The first person to talk loses, period. Now I've been on thousands of sales calls, tens of thousands. And you know, 1 out of every 100 calls, there will be an awkward silence that goes longer than 30 seconds. It's funny actually when it happens. But usually that person's experienced in sales, and it's hilarious when that happens. That being said, most often the prospect will break the silence. Yeah, 1,500, okay. Is that the only payment arrangement? Now again, I like to go for the paid in full, so I'm like, yeah, typically my best clients pay in full, that way it's all done and then you're fully committed. Does that work for you? Now this is where you're gonna start getting into some overcoming objections, and you're gonna have to start overcoming some objections because here, you can't expect the fact that the prospect is just gonna say yes to you. Just not gonna happen. The prospect is just not gonna say yes out of the gate, all right? They're gonna have some objections for why they can't take action. And so you need to come prepared to expect objections on that sales call so you can collect that cash and get that paid in full. How to overcome every single objection when you get on a sales call so you can collect more paid in fulls in full on the phone in cash. Now let me be super clear. The best time to overcome an objection is before it comes up. There's 3 main objections that you're ever gonna get: time, money, and spouse. You're also gonna get, I need to think about it, but this is just a smoke screen for one of the other 3 objections. How do you overcome the money objection before it comes up? Ideally, you're asking them questions about their budget to get a feel for where they're currently at in terms of their spending habits. So Nick, you mentioned to me that you've been struggling with this for the last 6 years. Out of curiosity, how much have you invested to try to solve this problem? Like, have you ever done any other coaching or mentorships or courses? Asking this question is gonna make you aware of how much they've already invested in other mentorships or programs. You also wanna be super aware if the prospect ever brings up the price on the phone. If the prospect keeps bringing up price on the phone or budget on the phone, that is a potential red flag that there is gonna be a money objection later. If they do ask you how much it costs, you're gonna say, yeah, that makes sense. I do have programs that fit all budgets. So what I wanna do is I basically wanna ask you a few clarifying questions just to make sure that I can even help you or not. And if I can help you, then I'll run you through all the potential options that we could use to work together. Does that sound good? Now, if the prospect mentions that they have a spouse or that they have a significant other on the call, what you wanna do is you wanna overcome that objection before it comes up. And here's exactly how you do that. Oh, that's amazing. So you mentioned that you've got your spouse as well. Does your spouse know that we're speaking today, Nick? She does? Oh, that's amazing. And typically speaking, like, would you say that your spouse is supportive of your goals? Like, obviously she wants you to, be successful and solve XYZ problem. Asking this question is going to get their emotional buy-in that their spouse is supportive of their goals. So if they do bring up the spouse objection later, we will be able to handle it more effectively. Now, time is the other main objection that you're going to get on the call. And the way that you're going to overcome the time objection is by asking the why now, why me questions. So Nick, you said you've been struggling with this for 2 years, brother. And first thing is, like, that's a really long time to be struggling with this. So I'm just curious, like, what made you reach out for a solution to this problem now? And like, why is this a priority for you right now? Asking these questions will create the right amount of internal pressure in the prospect, and they will feel motivated to take action for their own reasons when you ask the right questions and make them feel a certain emotion. Let's talk about the objection, I need to think about it. There's always a reason underneath that objection. I need to think about it is basically a smokescreen. It's also an indication that you didn't do your job properly on the sales call, because when you get to the end of the call, if the prospect says that I need to think about it, you either didn't give them the right information, you talked way too much, or you didn't pay attention to their goals, their problems, and what they actually need. Because the only reason they need to think about it is because they don't have enough information in front of them to be able to make a clear and calculated decision. So what we need to do is we need to ask them about the information that they need. Nick, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for being honest with me. So just so I'm super clear, what exactly is it that you need to think about? You want to ask this question in almost like a polite and kind of curious tone. Now, typically speaking, the prospect will be like, oh, it's just outside of my budget, or, it's just a big decision or whatever. We're just going to pretend that they actually don't give you an objection. If they don't tell you exactly what they need to think about, you're going to make some suggestions. Well, typically speaking, Nick, when I get on these calls, it's usually, it's the timing, or it's the budget, or, they need to speak to their spouse. Like, which one of those is that for you? Now the prospect is going to open up and let you know which one of their main objections they actually have. Once we clarify their main objection, we can actually work at overcoming it. But again, I need to think about it is not a real objection. It's just a smokescreen. You need to ask clarifying questions to get beneath that objection. Now let's pretend it's a big decision, right? Because sometimes the reason the prospect needs to think about it is a big decision. So you're going to go, so that makes sense, Nick. And, thanks so much for being honest with me. So just to be super clear, big decision aside, do you feel like this program is exactly what you're looking for? Like, do you feel like it's going to be able to help you, solve the problem that you're currently in and help you get to XYZ desired result? Okay, perfect. Now, Nick, is there anything about the program specifically that you don't like? Or do you really do feel like it's going to be able to help you, get the specific result that you're looking for and get to your specific goals and specific timeline? Now, when you ask this question, if there's anything about the program that the prospect does not like, they're going to make you aware of that, and then you can overcome that objection. You can clarify how this is actually going to be beneficial for them and what they actually need, and then get their commitment, and you can work at overcoming that objection. However, most often the prospect's going to say something like, well, yeah, it does feel like everything I need, and it does sound like everything that I want. It's just a really big decision. Listen, Nick, I appreciate you, and I just want to say thanks so much for hopping on this call today. Thanks so much for being real with me. You actually remind me of my client, John. John also felt like the exact same thing. He felt like it was a big decision, that it was, it was a big investment for him to be able to move forward. And John's actually been in the program now for 16 weeks. He's down 25 pounds. He's in the best shape of his life. And he just recently told me that he actually has the energy to play with his kids for the first time in 5 years. So, let me ask you a question, Nick. If we were able to, let's say, help you lose that 20 pounds that you said that you wanted to lose, and you actually were able to feel the best you've ever felt in your life, and you went and looked in the mirror and you were able to see your six-pack like you said you've always wanted, do you feel like that investment would be worth it? Obviously, the prospect is going to say yes to that. Well, listen, Nick, I know it's a big decision, and let me remove some of the risk for you, all right? Like, I want to meet you where you're at, and I don't want you to feel like you're about to jump into something where you don't have a mentor that has your back. So, Nick, if you make the decision to join today, and we work together for the next 6 months, and I don't help you lose that 20 pounds, get into the best shape of your life so you can finally see your six-pack, I'll send you a full refund on every single dollar that you paid. The worst case scenario is that I suck and you don't actually get the results that you paid for. But the best case scenario is that you actually do lose that 20 pounds and you do get in the best shape of your life and you do feel the most confident you've ever felt. And then, in 6 months' time from now, you send me a video telling me that you're so glad that we had this conversation, that I helped you change your life on that day because you finally feel confident looking in the mirror. How does that sound? Sounds pretty good, son. This is called a conditional money back guarantee. And essentially what that looks like is you're guaranteeing that the prospect is going to get the result in the timeline that they work with you, as long as they complete their check-ins, their meal plans, and they stay accountable. And again, if they do all those things and they don't get the result, then you suck at coaching and you shouldn't be a coach. So they deserve a refund. But out of the last 1,500 people that I've offered that guarantee to, there's only been one person that actually completed all the action items that I gave them. And then I did offer a refund because I didn't fulfill my promise. So the amount of times that you're actually going to have to offer that refund is very small, because when students do the doesn't work, they get the result. Okay, so that's how you overcome the I need to think about it objection and the big decision objection that might come with the I need to think about it objection. Let's talk about the framework that you need to use to overcome any and all objections, all right? This is the framework that you need to use no matter what the objection. No matter what, when you're overcoming objections, you need to isolate the objection. I'm gonna teach you exactly how to do that. Whether they say, I need to talk with my wife, I need to check the budget, it's not the right time, I need to start next week, I need to floss my cat, whatever. Okay, that makes sense, Nick. So just to be super clear, objection aside, does this program sound like everything you're looking for? Okay, perfect, Nick. And now, is there anything about the program that you don't like, that you don't think would benefit you, or you really do feel like the program is going to be able to help you get specific result that you're looking for in the specific time frame that you're looking for it? Now, these two questions are going to push the prospect to do one of two things. Number one, they're going to reveal their main objection and why actually they're not moving forward. Or number two, they're going to clarify that this program is exactly what they need. It's just that we need to overcome this specific objection. If it's just that we need to overcome this specific objection, we're going to go to that specific objection. But if there's anything about the program that the prospect doesn't like, then we're going to clarify exactly what they're looking for in the program. And then we're going to remind them that we actually do have that feature or that benefit. If the prospect says, no, this program does sound amazing, I just need to overcome this specific objection, then we're just going to move to that specific objection. So let's talk about the budget objection, the money objection, etc. No, the program does sound amazing, Brian. I'm just going to have to check my budget. Okay, perfect. So, Nick, just to be super clear, you're mentioning that the $5,000 for 6 months is a little bit too much. Is that correct? They're going to say yes. Okay, and now, is it that you don't have a credit card you can put on? Is it savings, or is it something else? We want to ask this question because we want to get them to start thinking resourcefully. If they say they do have a credit card they could put it on, or savings or something else, we're going to move to this. I love it, Nick. And listen, my job on this call is basically to coach you because I want you to lose 20 pounds and get into the best shape of your life. We do this because we want them to get into results-based thinking instead of cost-based thinking. So, Nick, at the end of the 6 months working together, if all we did was help you lose that 20 pounds, get into the best shape of your life so you look and felt the best you've ever felt, would that investment be worth it? Now, the prospect is obviously going to say yes to this, and then we're going to get a tie down. So just to be super clear, you're 100% confident we can help you lose the 20 pounds, and you do know that the investment will be worth it. Is that correct? Yes, it's going to be correct. Okay, perfect. It sounds like you're ready to get started. Would you prefer to do the paid in full option and save some money, or would you rather do the monthly? We're just going to move on, and we're going to go for the close. Now, if they don't say they have a credit card or a savings that they can put it on or something else, we're going to move to this. All right. Well, listen, Nick, I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this? We'll do $1,000 a month. And, first things first, that's going to be a lot easier on the wallet. And we're going to make sure that we get you down 20 pounds in the 6 months that we're working together, and we're going to be able to start seeing progress right away. And I'm so confident that you're going to be able to get the result in my coaching program that if you make the investment, you follow all the workouts, you follow the meal plan, you follow the training plan, you do all the check-ins, I'm 100% confident that at the end of 6 months, you'll be down the 20 pounds that I suggested on this call. And if you're not, I will send you a full refund of every single dollar that you paid. How does that sound? Sounds good, son. Collect some cash. Let's talk about the spouse objection. Now, in my opinion, overcoming the spouse objection on the phone without the wife there has been a recipe for buyer's remorse. So I prefer not to do it, to be completely transparent. That being said, I do not try to I'm going to still try to overcome the objection on the call. But typically speaking, if the prospect needs to speak to their spouse, you're able to close them on the call because you've got a really good talking track. And then they go talk to their spouse and their spouse is like, you, then that's usually a recipe for buyer's remorse and usually a recipe for refund. So here's how I handle it. So first things first, we're going to isolate their objection, the way that we isolate their objection. So just to be super clear, wife aside, do you feel like this program is going to help you out? Is there anything about the program that you don't like, or is it just that you need to speak with your spouse? You're 100% confident we can help you get to XYZ results. So that's like isolating the objection. So after you isolate their objection, now, Nick, I totally understand that you need to speak with your partner. And I also have a spouse I run decisions by too. And if I make a decision without her, I go click, click, bang, bang. Does your spouse know that we're speaking today, Nick? Okay, perfect. And typically speaking, are they supportive of your goals? Like obviously they want you to win and they want you to be successful. Now, this is going to help the prospect realize that the spouse is indeed on board and does want to help them win. So I'll tell you what, Nick, I totally get that. My spouse is usually on board for decisions like this too. So I've been on hundreds of these calls, Nick, and typically speaking, I know for a fact that if you get off this call and you don't take any sort of action, the likelihood that you come back and start getting down 20 pounds and start moving forward on your fitness goals is literally 1 in 10. So I want you to go talk to your spouse because frankly, I make decisions with my spouse as well. But let's do this. Let's go talk to your spouse. Let's get down a $100 deposit as a representation of your commitment to your own goals. That way you can go talk to your spouse, have a conversation with her about the coaching program, make sure it makes sense. And if she comes back and she's like, let's go, we can go all in. If she comes back and she's like, honestly, that's not a good move, no problem whatsoever. I'll send you a full refund, no questions asked. How does that sound? Now, the reason I like to do this is I try to get a micro commitment on the call. I'm getting them to commit to them and their own goals. If you can get a deposit on that call, the likelihood of you being able to convert them on the second call goes up significantly. It's a marketing fundamental that if somebody gives you $1, they're 7 times more likely to give you the second dollar. So if you can get them to give you $1 on the phone, even if it's a refundable deposit, the chances of that person coming back and converting is significantly higher. Now, once you've collected the cash for the $100 deposit, the next step is to book a follow-up call. The way that you'll do that is this. All right, Nick, perfect. So got the deposit. Thank you so much. Now, out of curiosity, when does your spouse get home? Okay, perfect. So you said around 6 p.m.? Yep, that's awesome. So how about we do a follow-up call at 6:30? That gives you an opportunity to speak with your spouse to make sure that she's on board. And then once you have that conversation with her, we can revisit this conversation and see if we can move forward or if it's not the right time. Is that fair? Perfect. Once you book the follow-up call, you want to re-cement their commitment to their own goals. So thanks for taking the time today, Nick. I'm really confident that we can help you lose this 20 pounds. I'm really confident that in 6 months' time from now, you're going to look in the mirror and you're going to realize this was the best decision that you've ever made. Is there any follow-up questions you had for me about the program or your fitness journey in general? Because I would love to be of service for you while I'm here. You just want to make sure that when you leave that call, you leave it with a higher energy than when the call started, so that when the prospect gets off the phone, the last thing that they remember from you is the good experience that you gave them while they were ending the call. Let's talk about the "I want to start later" objection. Typically speaking, if you get this objection, it means that you did not do a good enough job at creating urgency on the call. Why now? Why me? Why is this important right now? And why did you choose me to solve this problem? So step number one, you're always going to isolate their objection. Perfect. So thanks, Nick, for clarifying that for me. So I'm just curious, what is it that makes you want to start at a later date? 80% of the time, the reason they want to start at a later date is because it's their budget, right? They want to be able to have the finances to be able to afford it in full. Okay, perfect. That makes sense. Now, is it that you don't have a credit card you can put it on? Is it savings or is it something else? At this point, if the prospect realizes they have a credit card or savings that they can put it on, boom, we're in the money. There's also certain times where the prospect doesn't have a credit card or savings that they can put it on. There's also times where the prospect actually does have the money to be able to afford it, but they're going away or they're going on a vacation or they want to start at a later date because they have other commitments. In this case, you must close on the call. If you don't close on the call, the chances of that prospect coming back and closing on a later date is significantly lower. And I'm talking about significantly. Write this down and remember this. Buyers are liars. And just because they're saying yes to you in the moment does not mean that they are financially committed to the future. The only way to secure a financial commitment to the future is to collect some sort of cash on the phone. Unless you collect the cash on the phone, there is not a closed deal, period. So here's how you would handle that if they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start after my vacation. All right, Nick, thank you so much for being honest with me. And I totally get that you're going on vacation, that you wanna be fully focused when you get started. Do you mind if I'm transparent? Can I be transparent with you, Nick? I've been on hundreds of these calls, and I know for a fact that if you hang up this phone without taking any sort of action, the likelihood that you commit to your goals literally goes down to a 1 in 10. And I know that your goal is to lose the 20 pounds and get it in the best shape of your life, and I don't want that for you. So you like the program, I like you like me, hopefully, and you know for a fact that this is gonna work, so why don't we do this? We can start at a later date. Let's start at July 1st, but let's get that investment taken care of today. That way we can remove all the logistics for when you get back from your vacation on July 1st, and we can start and hit the ground running right away. I'll send you the questionnaire so that you can fill it out in your own time, and then by the time you get back on July 1st, we'll start right away and we'll just get right into momentum. How does that sound? We want to collect the cash on the phone so we can get them to start at a later date. So the way that we're going to overcome that objection is we're going to agree, yeah, it totally makes sense that you want to start at a later date. I completely resonate with that. I'm on board with that. And I've been on hundreds of these calls, and most of the time when I get in these calls and prospects say they're gonna start at a later date, what ends up happening is they never end up getting back to me and then they're stuck in the same place. I don't want that for you because I care about you. So why don't we do this? You can start at a later date. Let's get the investment secured today. That way, by the time you actually do get back on July 1st, we're ready to hit the ground running. I can send you some resources for free to help you get started right away, and then we can just get off into momentum. How does that sound? Boom, that sounds like a sale, son. Now, if the prospect says, I don't have it in my budget to start right away, but I will start on July 1st, then you need to get some sort of financial commitment from them because, again, buyers are liars. If they hang up the phone without giving you any cash, they ain't coming back. All right, Nick, so listen, that makes sense. And my goal is to help you lose the weight. That's why I'm here, all right? So I'm super committed to you losing 20 pounds, and I know for a fact that we can make that happen. I've also been on hundreds of these calls, Nick, and I know that if you hang up without taking any action, the chances of you going and getting absolutely no results and staying in the same place is significantly higher. So let's do this. Let's get started next week like you suggested. Let's get a $100 deposit down right now to secure your spot in the program. This is just to show me that you're actually committed to your own goals, and we can get started with the full program next week. In the meantime, I can send you the questionnaire and we can at least get the process rolling. How does that sound? That is how you overcome objections on sales calls. There's going to be instances where you cannot close on the phone no matter what the you do, all right? Sales is not a 100% close game. I wish it was. If it was, I'd be rich as That being said, if you cannot close on the call, always remember this. Book the follow-up call on the call. That is the rule of sales. Book the follow-up call on the call. So you just want to lean out. If you try to overcome their objection, you work through all this stuff and there's a lot of pressure, just want to lean out. Nick, I totally understand. Yeah, and I get it. My goal is to help you make the best possible decision for yourself because I want to transform your life. So you mentioned that you need to speak to your wife. How long do you need to speak with your wife to make sure that this is a good decision for you? Okay, 24 hours, perfect. So why don't we book a follow-up call for tomorrow at the exact same time? I'll send you some information about the coaching program so you can go over it with your wife, because I'm sure if you just try to relay the information that we just went over on this call, that it's going to be hard to remember everything we talked about. So I'll send you a document that you can take a look over with your wife. It's going to include some transformations of some of the clients that I've worked with in the program, so you can actually verify that they're real humans. And then tomorrow we can have a conversation about whether or not this is a good fit, and we can take it from there. How does that sound? Perfect. Now, Nick, this is important. Is there any other questions that you have for me while I'm here, or any other value that I can provide for you in the meantime? If you do have specific resources around the things that they're struggling with, you would want to send that to them before the follow-up call. So if the prospect mentioned that they struggle with a specific thing and you have a YouTube video that you did about that specific thing, you should probably send that to them. If the prospect mentioned that they struggle with XYZ diet and you have a free guide that helps with XYZ diet, you should probably send that to them. Give the prospect as much information and consumables as you possibly can before their next call, so the chances of them converting go up significantly. Another thing you can do is send them some transformations of clients that have had a similar experience as them. Like if you're working with moms, send them some other transformations of busy moms that have gone through your program and lost the weight and seen massive success, right? So give them as much information before the follow-up call takes place, so that the chances of them showing up for that follow-up call and converting on that follow-up call is significant. Now I'm gonna give you one last piece of sauce, because I'm a f***ing G and I care about you. Once you book that follow-up call and you hang up the call, it's booked in for the next day, I want you to send them a personalized voice note, and I want it to say something like this. So Nick, I just want to say thanks so much for taking the time to book in for the call today. I'm super excited about helping you transform your life. On the call, we basically talked about the fact that you've been struggling with losing weight for the last 5 years, and that you've tried every single diet underneath the sun, and that you basically are looking for a permanent solution to your problem. I know that you want to get into flexible dieting, which is obviously what you see my clients do. And the reason that you reach out to me is because you've seen all the amazing client transformations, and you believe that you could be one of those transformations yourself. So I'm super pumped for our follow-up call tomorrow. On the call tomorrow, we're basically going to run through everything we talked about on the call today and decide whether or not it's a good fit for you. And I'm 100% confident that we can help you lose the weight that we said you wanted to lose. So let me know if you need anything before the call tomorrow. I'm super excited, brother, and I hope you have the best day of your entire life. Boom! Come on. So on that call, basically, I'm going to give you the framework for that voice note. You're going to recap everything you talked about on the call. You're going to remind them of their desires. You're going to remind them of their pain points. And then you're going to let them know that you're 100% confident that they're going to achieve their goals. That's the framework for the voice note. It should be 30 to 60 seconds max. Guys, and that's it. All right, that's how you overcome objections on the call. Once you overcome objections, the last piece of the puzzle is collecting the cash. And so once they're like, yes, I'm in, we're like, perfect. This is how you collect the cash. Perfect, Nick, I love it. So I'm sending you a text. Can you see that? All right, Nick, so go ahead and get that taken care of for me right now while we're on the phone. And then once you're all done, I'm just gonna walk you through the onboarding and walk you through the next steps. Cool? They're gonna say, do I have to take care of it right now? And you're gonna be like, yep, it only takes 2 seconds. And then it just makes it easier for me to onboard you, because then I don't have to answer questions back and forth in the DMs. I can just take care of it right away. Cool? And then shut the hell up. One of the things I used to do is I used to mute myself after I said that, because I just let the prospect pay. Let them go through the awkwardness, try not to talk as much, let them process the payment. If you feel like you need to talk and chat them through it, that's fine, but you don't want to talk yourself out of the sale. So I'll let the prospect pay. Once the prospect pays, I'll onboard the prospect, and just like that, I closed a client. Guys, if this series has been valuable for you, please leave a comment and let me know. You know, the best way that you guys can compliment me is by sharing this YouTube channel with other people. I feel like I'm the best kept secret on YouTube, you know? This is the most valuable YouTube on the planet. My goal is to be the #1 business coach for online fitness coaches on the market. And frankly, I just want to be the best business coach, period. And so if I can provide value for you and I can give you value, the best compliment that you could give is liking, commenting, sharing the channel with your friends, and just like letting me know, leaving me positive reviews in the comments. All right, so peace, love, and protein. Have the best of your entire life. Talk to you soon. Let's go. Wait, and if you're interested in working with me and my team to help you grow your fitness business, tap the button in the comments of this video to book in for a call. Peace.